border security. America is listening to Fox News.
When you're in the thick of a project, Harbor Freight is the place that always comes in handy. Whether you're picking up something for your pickup truck or a power tool for your project, at Harbor Freight, your dollar always goes further. And these days, when everything seems to cost more, you can take pride in knowing that you get hard-working tools at hard-working prices. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare information guide absolutely free. Call 800-939-1331. 800-939-1331. 800-939-1331.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Winds will be turning to the northwest later on today. A bit of a changeable sky, and we'll keep an eye out for a sprinkle or a couple of little light showers. Do not expect much. We should top out at 63 with a little drop in temperature with the northwest wind late today. Tonight, partly cloudy, 38. Thursday, sunny, a little cooler, but still okay, 55. Friday, sunny and 66. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
The Range St. Louis West has the best memberships in the St. Louis area. Mark Cox here. Members shoot for free at the range anytime. They get free rental for the latest firearms, from pistols to shotguns to rifles. You can make reservations online at no cost. 5% off all firearms, 10% off all ammo, and 15% off standard training classes. Get your membership today. The Range St. Louis West, 14803 Manchester Road in Baldwin, or TheRangeSTL.com.
It's Power Torque Tools DIY days at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Save $20 on a Power Torque 248-piece mechanics tool set. Power Torque professional hand tools have a lifetime guarantee, available only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
In just over 1 month, illegal border crossings have plummeted by numbers that nobody's actually ever seen before. It's much more than 100%. And we've unleashed American energy at levels that will soon be reported. But we think we're going to get it going very quickly. We have incredible people on the energy front. I think we have really great people on every front. I'll let you know if they're not good, but I think they really are. And we're fighting every day to get the prices down. The inflation is stopping slowly, but part of the reason it's stopping is because of high interest rates and other problems that we inherited. But we have to get the prices down, not the inflation down, the prices of eggs and various other things. Eggs are a disaster. The Secretary of Agriculture is going to be showing you a chart that's actually mind-boggling what's happened, how low they were with us and how high they are now. But I think we can do something about it, Madam Secretary, and I think you're going to do a fantastic job in that position.
There is President Trump speaking from the first cabinet meeting at the White House. He was flanked by Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, and by Pete Hegseth, in charge of the Department of Defense. And he took on a lot of questions. He answered a lot of questions. And it was a pretty positive meeting. How much of it did you listen to, Ryan?
Most of it.
Yeah.
I think I maybe just missed the very beginning of it.
Well, I'm glad you said that. The very beginning of it was interesting. I don't know how you would expect the cabinet meeting to open, but once again, I feel like we might be in a position to experience something different than we are used to. We've seen this pastor who has been at several different. I think he was at the inauguration with the swearing in and everything. And he's very good. And we got to see and hear him again today. Let's listen to, this is Secretary Scott Turner. He's the HUD secretary. Let's listen to him.
We say grace, and then we'll have our meeting, right? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this awesome privilege, Father, to be in your presence. God, thank you that you've allowed us to see this day. The Bible says that your mercies are new every morning. And Father God, we give you the glory and the honor. Thank you, God, for President Trump, Father, for appointing us. Father God, thank you for anointing us to do this job. Father, we pray you will give the president, the vice president wisdom, Father God, as they lead. Father, I pray for all of my colleagues that are here around the table and in this room. Lord God, we pray that we would lead with a righteous clarity. Father God, that as we serve the people of this country in every prospective agency, every job that we have, Father, we would humble ourselves before you, and we would lead in the manner that you've called us to lead and to serve. Father, the Bible says that blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. Well, Father, we today honor you, and in your rightful place, Father, thank you for giving us this opportunity to restore faith in this country and be a blessing to the people of America. And Lord God, today in our meeting, we pray that you would be glorified in our conversation. In Jesus' name, amen.
You start the cabinet meeting with a prayer from the Secretary of the Housing and Urban Development. That sends a signal.
That's awesome. In fact, I saw that this was happening, but I don't know that I heard the whole thing. That is so neat. And seeing the image of it, too, because if you're just listening, you can hear how good of a prayer that was. But seeing all of these men, these are maybe the most powerful men in the world, bowing their heads in submission to God. It was neat to see.
I think one of the things that President Trump has done very successfully is delegated and promoted people into these positions on the cabinet that are very capable of taking the ball and running with it. And there were multiple times during this cabinet meeting as well that I was hearing, okay, this is where this guy and this guy are coming together on this issue, and this is where this person and that person are coming together on this issue. And I am looking at the Republican Party that is assembled here to transform our government and hand it back to the people in a prioritization of America first. And I'm trying to be very mindful of where I've watched the Republican Party be in my time of course, being on the radio. My official Annie Fry show started on weekends in June of 2016, but I've been at 97.1 since February of 2009. And the reason why I came to 97.1 is because I was very interested in politics. I cared about these things. I thought they mattered. And I don't recognize this Republican Party from anything. There's never even been a suggestion of this type of collaboration, pinpoint focus that was promised to the American people when they had the opportunity to vote A or B. They made promises. They didn't make promises that seemed like they were top down from some Republican Party somewhere else. They made promises that were generated out of listening to the American people. It feels entirely like what we are seeing assembled in that cabinet room, to me, of course, I voted in favor of this. I understand if you're listening right now, you might not have. But for me, this seems very much so, for the first time in my lifetime, that everybody assembled in that room is there because they listened to the American people, in spite of what maybe the party was pushing them to do, and in spite of what the opposing party tried to define them as. And this is wild to compare, Ryan. Thinking back to what Joe Biden's administration did, and I don't believe that Joe Biden was at the helm in any way, shape, or form. I believe he was a complete and total figurehead, puppet, the person who they could instill into the most powerful position in the entire world, that wanted that position so bad that they'd be willing to give up their power in that position if the people that pulled the levers would get him elected. Every single decision that Joe Biden made, or that was made on behalf of Joe Biden, was made to appease the political parties and the bureaucracy and the swamp that was enriched by it. And everything that was made and said outwardly was always reactionary. And I would say not to what are the political trends with the American people? It was, where was the money? Where was the money coming in? Who did the money need to go to? Whose promises, what kind of promises did they need to keep to people who were holding up this structure the way it was? What kind of investments were made that needed to be followed through with in order to keep the game going? You cannot have a pinpoint laser focus when you serve that many masters. You can't do it. Your principles are based on where the most money was spent and what those people feel that day. That's not the case with Donald Trump, because it's people first. It's Americans first. It's America first. And it is showing up in that room that is full of, honestly, it's a pretty diverse room. And when you think about diverse in thought, diverse in lifestyle, diverse in religion, when you think about that also being true, but never once being the leading factor, it's amazing how when you go to get the very best, diversity does show up.
That's something, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's diverse in the ways that the left always champions. It's also diverse in thought. These are people who, we see the cabinet meeting together today. It's the first time they've all been together, so it's a press moment for sure. It's a historic moment in that way. But all these people that are gathered in this room, the vast majority of them, they're very good messengers. They know how to get their message out. But more important than that, even the ones that aren't great messengers, you don't know their names, all of them. Every single one in that room has shown that they are willing to ask why. Oh, that's the way we've always done it. Why? Now, maybe it's because that's the best way to do it, but they're all there asking that same question about their agencies, and that is what America wants.
One of the words that we've heard a lot about what the Trump administration appears to be, or what it is, the people on the left call it chaos. And, I was thinking to myself, if I'm looking at the Super Bowl party parade if I'm a Chiefs fan and I'm watching the Eagles go out and celebrate and everything, that kind of looks like chaos from the Chiefs' perspective. If you're watching somebody celebrate something and it's a wild party and you weren't invited, or you excluded yourself, that might look like chaos, but it might be a party. I'm not saying what the Trump administration is doing right now is a party, but if you're on the outside, intentionally excluding yourself because you're too good to be on the inside of whatever this is, yeah, it does look like chaos. But how do you explain the productivity that has come from it? And if you don't see this as productivity and you're on the outside, then you're probably exactly where you're supposed to be. Here's more from Trump today.
So since the election, the confidence in our nation, including right track, wrong track, the first time it's ever happened where we were on the right track, because this country has been on the wrong track for a long time. So the confidence in business, confidence in the country has reached an all-time high. We have never reached levels like we are right now.
When you think about confidence in the direction that the country is headed in, I really only see complete and total panic from the media. That is in the places that you would expect the media to be panicking. I would say I see a few people in my personal life hasn't come up to me like face to face. I don't really expect it to. I don't really want it to, honestly. I mean, I would always welcome a conversation from somebody in my life who I love and who I respect, even though I know that they believe differently than me and they know I believe differently than them, and we have a mutual respect for one another because we care about each other. You know, if those people wanted to have a conversation about it, I'm always interested in having that conversation. I see a few things on social media, and I feel like some of the things that I'm seeing, like the worry that I'm seeing, some of it I kind of understand. I've seen some things, even here locally, of anecdotes of people being treated a certain way. They're brown-skinned people. We have a lot of Latino communities around this bi-state area in St. Louis. And I have seen anecdotes of people being treated a certain way because of their brown skin. I mean, these people could be like third-generation Americans who've lived here the whole time. And the stories that are being told suggest that they are being told to, get out of here and go home or whatever. I just want to, everybody, hand in hand, kumbaya, remember that a-holes exist. And that people who would ever look at somebody like that and judge based on the skin color of somebody, say, oh, well, they've got, essentially in this situation, they've got the wrong skin color. You need to go back home. That person is an a-hole. And if that person espouses some sort of conservative beliefs or red hat waving something or other, and they're an a-hole, they're an a-hole. They're everywhere. You cannot escape them. And we should absolutely call them out as such. And the reason why I say this is because I own a MAGA hat. I don't really wear it around, but I own one. I think it's a piece of history that I want to have a part of. I own a MAGA hat. I love Donald Trump. I love what he's doing as the president. And I don't support what a-holes are doing. Anytime that a-holes are being a-holes. That's an okay thing to say. And that's the opposite of saying everybody who supports this candidate is this kind of person. Everybody who supports that candidate is that kind of person. Everybody who has this religion is this kind of person. Everybody who has this skin color is that kind of person. That type of behavior in and of itself is whatever it needs to be. It's racist, it's sexist, it's homophobic, it's all of these things. When you label somebody by some sort of demographical attribute that they have or, thought process that they have that is in good intent, if you're saying everybody like that is a certain kind of way, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican. If you're going to be a racist Republican, I hate you. I hate racism. I don't want to see that anywhere. But it goes both ways. We need to be living in a First Amendment society where those people who speak out and speak loudly and speak boldly and make fools of themselves, we point at them and call them the fool that they are.
You're doing that right now. This is the difference between the left and the right. The right has its fringes, and generally speaking, the I don't want to call it the establishment right, but the majority of the right would look at that and go, that's not cool. That's not representative of us. We know that it exists, but that's not where we want to go, and we want that to go away. The left, however, the fringes of the party are running the party, and they're embraced. I mean, the governor of Maine knows that she's in the wrong, and yet she's going against the will of her own people in her own state. That's the fringes of the party running the party versus what happens on the Republican side.
So you got to call it out, and you got to call it like you see it, and it has to come on both sides. And if, I think that the way that the middle, the center left has spoken out was in this last election. You might not have supported Donald Trump, but you also couldn't stomach whatever it was that Kamala Harris was. I mean, like when you go back and think about what she stood for, she didn't even know what she stood for. She couldn't name a single thing that she would have done differently than Joe Biden. That's not the way forward. Now, the Democrats could absolutely put together a plan that doesn't look like anything I'd like to support, but have a pinpoint focus that's based on listening to the voters that they need to hear, and they could put something together, and it could be a formidable opponent for whatever this America First agenda is. But right now, I just don't think it's the case. It's very interesting to see the cabinet meeting unfolding, all of them standing there, opening in prayer. We had RFK Jr. spoke up. Pete Hegseth spoke up. Marco Rubio was there. I don't know that he spoke up specifically in any great detail. There were, I think, Bessent spoke up. Lutnick might have spoken as well. There are a lot of people who are participating, and Trump is deferring to them. Because we now have a team of people who are in a position of power to carry out what you sent Donald Trump to Washington, D.C. to do. It started with you, and that's about as American as it gets. YouTube live chat poll for today. I'm gonna play a clip here when we come back. Carolyn Levitt said something at the press briefing yesterday, and it's wild, and it has to do with me. So just stick around. I'll tell you what the poll question is when we come back. You can scoop me. You can go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel right now, and you can look at it yourself. But let's discuss that in a moment. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan are a phone call away, 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Stewie wants to talk to you about a bagel loan and how it can help you, and it's pretty simple when you're going to buy a home, or even if you're looking to refinance. Essentially what you're doing is getting a new mortgage. When you get that new mortgage, be it with the purchase of a new home or a new mortgage with a better setup for you on that refinance, you pay $0 in closing costs to Stewart's American Mortgage. That saves you potentially thousands of dollars, a lot of money that stays in your pocket that you can use for whatever it is you want, build up your savings. Maybe you lower your interest rate with a refinance, take some cash out, make some improvements on the home, consolidate some debt with the equity that you have in your house, or you're looking to buy a new home and you want to be a competitive buyer. How about working with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage, where you can close in less than 2 weeks. You can get that pre-approved number and then generate your own pre-approval letters right there on the website. 314-324-4440. You can use the bagel loan. Google it to find out more information. NMLS number 226715.
If you're struggling with weight and frustrated with dieting each and every year, Mark Patrick Seminars can help.
After this hypnosis, I want to eat good food.
Since August, I can honestly say I have not had one potato chip.
It was life-changing for me.
And I don't think about desserts like I used to.
Bridget, how much have you lost now?
I had lost a total of 83 pounds.
Holy cow.
It's easy, it's fun, very relaxing, and very successful.
And I would just say go for it.
Early bird special, only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings. That's right. Seminars, Sunday, March 16th, Aviator Hotel and Suites, South I-55 in St. Louis. Weight loss seminar, 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar, 2 p.m. Or Monday, March 17th. 4 Points by Sheraton, St. Louis, Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 8 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Hey guys, it's Mark Reardon. If you're struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain, Game Day Men's Health has got you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more in all of a relaxed man cave environment. At Game Day, you'll get a free testosterone test and consultation, all in just 1 hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Get back in the game with Game Day Men's Health.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Their parent gave everything
everything for our nation. But when support fades, who stands with them? Join the Precious Legacy at Rhythm and Brews Fest on March 8th in St. Charles. Learn more at 971talk.com/talkinaction.
Finding ways to articulate the feeling I'm going through. I just can't say I don't love you, 'cause I love you. Yeah, it's hard for me to communicate the thoughts that I hold, but tonight I'm gonna let you know. Let me tell the truth. Baby, let me tell the truth. Yeah, you know what I'm thinking. See it in your eyes. You hate that you want me. Hate it when you cry. You're scared to be lonely, especially in the night. I'm scared that I'll miss you. Happens every time. I don't want this feeling. I can't afford love. I try to find reason to pull us apart. It ain't working 'cause you're perfect, and I know that you're worth it. I can't walk away. Even though we're going through it and it makes you feel alone, just know that I would die for you. Baby, I would die for you. Yeah. The distance and the time between us, it'll never change my mind. 'Cause baby, I would die for you. Baby, I would die for you. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. I mean, all in all, together with the cabinet meeting taking place today, it's a big news day because of that, because that's the first time that they've all been together, all in the same room. I'm sure there's been a lot of communication that's taking place leading up to that, but the assembly of the Avengers, so to speak, in having this cabinet meeting, it's big news. But last night, the Republicans pulled it off. Thomas Massey did what Thomas Massey does, and they had one person who apparently Donald Trump had to call them at the last minute and say, "Hey, come on now, let's get over this and let's make sure that we do what we have to do here and get it done." Here's the speaker on the way to the House floor vote.
Speaker, do you have the votes? Yep.
How much work are you going to have to do out there on the floor to make sure you can actually get there?
I think we've got it.
You think you've already locked it down?
I do, yeah.
Is the Senate's resolution Plan B?
There's no Plan B. This is the only plan, and we're running with it.
Are you worried you'll lose the president's trust if it fails?
No. I've spoken to the president multiple times today. He knows exactly what we're doing and why.
What is he telling the holdouts?
He told everybody what his desire is, and that is to get this resolution passed so that we can begin moving forward with reconciliation. So that's what's going to happen.
Are you worried those members will still...
So there's Speaker. I guess it's just him walking to the actual House vote, but the House did manage to pass that bill, and that's a pretty big deal in order for them to get it done. The big problem that you had yesterday with it was that it would overall raise the deficit because the debt, because it's, what was it, $4 trillion out of balance after 10 years or something like that?
Oh,
maybe
no.
10?
No. Well, it depends. Okay, so the House version, from what I've read, unless this has changed, because everything was changing so much last minute, the one I was working off of yesterday was that they were going to try to remove $200 billion from the budget. So it would decrease the budget, but it still wouldn't be a balanced budget. We'd still be spending more than we were making, and that was my problem with it.
The super slim margin that exists for the Republicans in the House causes a lot of troubles because you got to appease the far left of the Republicans. I don't know if far left is the right
middle.
The moderates, and then what in this case is really fiscal hawks. The House resolution aimed to increase, as a Fox News report, spending on border security, judiciary, and defense by roughly $300 billion. while seeking at least $1.5 trillion to $2 trillion in spending cuts elsewhere. As written, the House bill also provided $4.5 trillion to extend President Donald Trump's 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act provision, which expire at the end of this year. An amendment negotiated by House Budget Committee Chairman Jody Arrington of Texas and conservatives on this panel would also force lawmakers to make $2 trillion in cuts or else risk the $4.5 trillion in Trump's tax cuts getting reduced by the difference. The resolution also fulfilled Trump's directive to act on the debt limit, raising it by $4 trillion in roughly 2 years. So the report is that several fiscal conservatives had demanded more assurances from the House GOP leadership that Republicans would seek deep spending cuts to offset the cost of Trump's priorities. And that's really where Thomas Massie was. Are you like all in with Thomas Massie on this?
Pretty much, yeah. He's the only one really saying, I absolutely will not vote for this. And I would like to know what President Trump said to the 2 or 3 Republicans who were on the outside of it. You know, there was the one that I'm thinking of. It was Tim Burchett of Tennessee, Warren Davidson of Ohio, and then Victoria Spartz is the one that you kind of remember because she's the Ukrainian-American Republican from Indiana. That's a very, very unique person. Those were the 3 that were holdouts. Trump apparently spoke to those 3. I don't I don't know what he said. I would really like to know if he said, look, pass this because we're going to come back to this even this year. Like I told Brad before the show, that to me would be the only way that I could, if I were a House member, vote for this, is to say, okay, I'll give you won. Trump, you did this, man. Let's get your legislative agenda going. I get that. But as long as we can revisit this year with all the Doge cuts then in place, then maybe I'd be on board.
Do you think that? Where do you think the push needs to come from? Because with this slim majority, you just really do have your hands tied.
I heard, you and I were talking about listening to the cabinet meeting today. One of the things that Trump said in that cabinet meeting, and I don't know if this was when he was talking to Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, because there was a little back and forth there that was really good. But Trump said in that meeting that his goal was to balance this budget. And that was one of the first times I'd heard him just outright say, we're going, and you know how he's 100% all the way about everything. He said, you watch, we're going to balance this budget. That's the goal. And I thought, hallelujah.
I think he said like within the next 2 years.
He did. He of course, he's going to imply we're going to do it next month. But
no, I think that he said, realistically, that's the actual goal. He said, I think he said maybe by next year, but probably in the next 2 years, we'd like to see a balanced budget.
And that's what we needed to hear because the president is dictating all of the terms right now. And to a degree, like we talked about yesterday, rightfully so. He gets that honor of dictating the terms. And if he says we're going to balance the budget, I believe that we're going to balance the budget.
I also think that if you're going to do something like that, this bill isn't the only thing, but it is a necessary thing in order to do it the right way. It's a huge portion of the solution to what we're facing right now. I love listening to Donald Trump. It's everywhere he goes. I mean, yes, he has a press secretary, but everywhere he goes, it seems like he's got a pool of press around him, and he takes questions directly to him. You got to have some thick skin to go in there and ask questions of the president, because if he doesn't like your question, he's definitely going to tell you. But I think if you're willing to push and rumble and get in there and do your job, that the president will respect. He likes a little bit of the give and take on it. We've really seen a reshaping and a remaking of the before Biden years where the press was involved. And in what capacity did the press do the bidding of the American people? The way that they would answer questions. I mean, thinking about Karine Jean-Pierre going out to the press room and doing her binder. Let me be clear. We've been very clear. We're very clear-eyed on this. You were clear on Jack Squat.
Yeah.
And that was her job. Is to not be clear on things, is to be able to go out there and like what she was doing. People are like, oh, she's terrible at her job. She was amazing at her job. She took the arrows for the questions that press may want to ask, and she did her thing, and then she left and she came up and did it the next day. I don't know how she did it.
It's been amazing to hear Carolyn Levitt because it's the little things that come out. It's not always just the answer to the question. It's the way they answer it. And what she'll say a lot is, well, I was actually just back with the president just earlier this morning. We were talking about this very issue, and then she'll give you the answer. That newsflash, that never was happening with Karine Jean-Pierre and Joe Biden.
You know what the difference is? Donald Trump has nothing to hide. And the whole policy of the press office for Joe Biden's administration was to hide it. And that's a beautiful thing to see that transformation between the White House and these two administrations. Now, Carolyn Leavitt, the press secretary, the amount of people who have reached out to me since she said this yesterday, I woke up to a bunch of messages. I had literally had the question, Annie, are you getting invited to the White House? And I was like, oh, crap. What happened? Like, what did I miss? I didn't know this because I had stuff to do yesterday evening, so I wasn't able to listen to it. Here's Carolyn Leavitt yesterday.
As you all know, for decades, a group of D.C.-based journalists, the White House Correspondents Association, has long dictated which journalists get to ask questions of the President of the United States in these most intimate spaces. Not anymore. I am proud to announce that we are going to give the power back to the people who read your papers, who watch your television shows, and who listen to your radio stations. Moving forward, the White House press pool will be determined by the White House press team. Legacy outlets who have participated in the press pool for decades will still be allowed to join, fear not, but we will also be offering the privilege to well-deserving outlets who have never been allowed to share in this awesome responsibility. Just like we added a new media seat in this briefing room, legacy media outlets who have been here for years will still participate in the pool, but new voices are going to be welcomed in as well. As part of these changes, we will continue the rotation amongst the 5 major television networks to ensure the President's remarks are heard far and wide around this world. We will add additional streaming services which reach different audiences than traditional cable and broadcast. This is the ever-changing landscape of the media in the United States today. We will continue to rotate a print pooler who has the great responsibility of quickly transcribing the President's remarks and disseminating them to the rest of the world. And we will add outlets to the print pool rotation who have long been denied the privilege to partake in this experience, but are committed to covering this White House beat. We will continue to rotate a radio pooler and add other radio hosts who have been denied access, especially local radio hosts who serve as the heartbeat of our country. And we will add additional outlets and reporters who are well suited to cover the news of the day and ask substantive questions of the President of the United States, depending on the news he is making on that given day.
So she said local radio. I was like, the whole time when people say something to me like, Annie, are you going to do this? I'm like, well, I would love to, but you have overinflated my ability to get into these places.
I think you're saying that. But you've talked to Carolyn Leavitt before.
Oh, sure.
So
it's my job.
Maybe when she was reading this, she was picturing a few people.
I'm the only local radio show host she talked to. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
When she was the spokesperson, was it for the RNC, GOP, whatever?
The only one I know of.
That's all that matters. That's more specific than they've been before.
It was specific.
Inviting people in.
Yeah.
Local, I just think if I were to go there, I would be going on behalf of the people who I talk to. You listening right now. The St. Louis Metro East, the bi-state region here. I would want to talk to them, ask them questions that got answers for you. That would be my purpose there. It's not for me. It is an honor. Let me make sure I'm very clear about this. If I were to be able to go do that, it would be a great honor. But it's not about me. I have a platform and I speak to you. So if I were to be plucked out of a group of people a probably sizable group of people who would be wanting this opportunity, I would have to do the right thing by you. So that's the YouTube poll. Should I try to do it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got some comments coming in too.
I'm going to let you read them.
Amy says, she all but said, Annie, I'm looking at you.
Okay. All right, Amy. I see you. I wish we could like have a good old-fashioned radio promotion. Vote for me.
We can do that.
Just on our show. Should Annie go or should Annie go?
We can make. I see. We can make yard signs. Put them out in the lobby.
Annie for one-day press pass.
Yes, Annie for one-day press pass.
Somebody said on here, I think it was a Joe earlier, and it was like they didn't want to lose me talking to you here. That's not how this works. I think in my mind, it's a 1 day opportunity to get a press pass.
1 day per week.
No.
Per month.
No, I think it's a one-time only operation, and if for whatever reason they took a liking to you, you might get picked again.
Let's send this clip to Caroline Levitt.
I would love the opportunity. I would study so hard, and I would probably get a 8-word question.
Oh yeah, you'd have
if
a whole notebook
Mm-hmm.
and be, maybe get a word in, but that would be the most famous words you've ever spoken.
Especially if I screw it up.
Which you should.
No.
Go for the clicks.
No. That's why you're here.
Gary Vood. Annie Fry Show. That's a callback joke if you didn't get that one.
All right. If you think that I should go, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I asked, I'm like, I don't even know if I should do this. This seems like I don't want to ask a poll question about me. Let's say if we get over 400 votes tonight, I will begin the pursuit to try to make this happen.
Oh, come on. Yeah, we can do that.
We've done 400 votes before.
People.
500 votes is what we make it when I don't want to do it. So
400
I've
is in reach.
lowered the bar. Annie Fry YouTube channel, youtube.com/@AnnieFryShow. I don't even care what your vote is. 31% people right now say no, though.
If you get a press pass, do you get a buddy?
I might need help.
You probably would need help.
I usually take Brad.
I will promise you. I will promise you. I will not say anything.
Why does he have duct tape on his mouth?
But I will sit there and look at you like a puppy dog.
You
like,
literally just told me to say the wrong thing to get clicks and introduce myself as Gary Vood.
Yes. No, I would do Gary Vood, but
I know that's a problem.
I'm promising that I won't.
I would take Brad. You need to advocate for 2 people to go.
Brad, I have shown my willingness to get rid of my beard for the duct tape. Brad has a beard. Now I can get rid of this if you want to duct tape my mouth. That's my pitch.
I don't need you to get rid of it to duct tape your mouth.
Brad's also right.
We're at 195 votes already, so we're pretty much halfway there and living on a prayer.
All right, let's go.
Let's get to 400 votes today, and I will begin the pursuit of trying to get whatever access this is for you, the listener to the Annie Fry Show. Because honestly, and I don't say that in a like a patronizing kind of way, I really don't get to do any of this if you're not there, and I'm so incredibly grateful for each and every one of you. YouTube live chat poll: should Annie apply for the opportunity for a press pass at the White House? Yes or no? Go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Vote. If we get to 400 votes, I wonder if we get to 400 votes and they're all no, if I should just heed that warning too.
No. You just said 400.
Well, I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out. 400 votes. Let's go. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
A lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, I'm usually much more active, but since I've been in pain, I've had to limit the activities I'm doing.
You're listening to Janelle, an arch support specialist at the Good Feet store.
So he came in and he wanted to be able to keep up, play sports with his kids. And from there, we figure out which arch supports complement those activities. I fit him with the arch supports, and as I followed up with him, he's messaged me and said, I took my kids to the park today. We're walking, we're exercising, riding the bikes, and those are all things that he wasn't doing before because he was in pain.
For over 25 years, the Good Feet store's arch support specialists have been helping folks to live the life they love without foot, knee, hip, or back pain getting in the way.
Our goal is to have that long-term change for them. That's what's most important, is knowing that you leave an impact on someone's life. And I like that.
Try them for yourself. Stop in for a free personalized fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
99 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of St. Louis has been repairing and replacing garage doors for savvy homeowners. Since 1926, they are the only authorized dealer of Overhead Door brand products in the city. Always look for the iconic red ribbon to be sure you're dealing with the genuine, the original Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. For same-day garage door repair 24/7, call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis or schedule online overheaddoorsstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Mark Cox here. Are you looking for the perfect start to your child's education? At Kirk Day School, the early childhood program for ages 3 and 4 is where your little one will learn to thrive. They have hands-on activities, nurturing teachers, and a biblical worldview. You can attend their early childhood open house Friday, March 7th, meet the dedicated educators, and tour their Christ-centered classrooms. To register for their early childhood open house and learn more, visit kirkdayschool.org.
Do you ever wonder if you've saved enough to retire? Discover how you could make your money go a lot further in retirement in a 3-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. Hey guys, it's Dave Glover here. This one-night class is taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects with decades of financial planning experience, and they're held at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis. You'll learn about reducing your taxes, maximizing your Social Security, paying for health care, and more. There's no cost. We would ask that you bring 3 canned goods that we're going to pass on to the St. Louis Crisis Nursery. So you have 2 jobs when it comes to retirement, in my humble opinion. One is saving the money, putting it away. And then the other, just as important, is how do you take it out and what do you do with it after that? Find out at Retirement Planning 101. Simply call 314-350-8110. Again, no money necessary. 314-350-8110. 350-8110.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
All right, the YouTube live chat poll today is, should Annie apply for the opportunity for a press pass at the White House, and then should she take Ryan if she gets it?
That's not on there.
Yes or no?
No.
Let us know what you think. It's the YouTube live chat poll, and apparently a lot of votes coming in because people want to see you and me at the White House.
What?
12:48.
Knock it off.
This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Looking for SLU men's basketball? You found it right here this weekend on 97.1. Tune in for the Billikens game at 3. Pre-game starting at 2:45. SLU versus Loyola. We're hosting the Billikens game for you right here this Saturday. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins! I want to help the parents out there. Annie, that means you.
I am always coming to you for parenting advice.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's like middle of the night. Am I doing this right? I'm like, oh my gosh, Annie.
We're up to 246 votes, by the way. We just added 50 votes.
That is a lot in the 1 o'clock hour. Keep it going. Maybe we'll get to 400 real soon.
I like Janine's comment.
Which was?
Yes, 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 and Ryan could be Annie's press secretary.
That's exactly what I want, is for Ryan to be interpreting my thoughts and desires and sharing in his words to the people what those might be.
No, to the press secretary. I'll be your press secretary to her.
Does that mean you ask the question?
I was just going to say, I just go there and sit there?
No, like you like whisper,
No.
I have a question, and then you just, and then you say, Andy Fry has a question, and then you ask the question.
No. I don't think you understand. You guys don't understand politics.
What? What?
So clearly the way that this would play out would be that Annie would ask a question of Carolyn Levitt, just as usual. Then I would stand up and say, what she means to say is.
You should be my sign language person.
And Phil... I would do that. You want clicks?
No, I don't want to disrespect people.
You talk to her like she doesn't understand English. Like,
You'd have to learn
asking
you saying the same thing, just bigger and slower.
Give me a hype guy.
Yeah.
Where?
Yes, exactly.
Where is the money?
Okay.
Yeah, and everything she says.
Air horn.
I'm just going.
Where will the money come from?
Carolyn Levitt's
They're going to start asking.
That's a great help to me because I couldn't quite hear her.
They're going to start
but now
asking
with that guy standing there.
what kind of listener base we have, and I don't think that's very fair to them.
And then she's going to come back out the next day and be like, remember what we said about local radio shows? We are rescinding that offer.
Look what Kelly just said there.
Hang on, let me see.
Oh, you just took it off.
Kelly says, darn it, Annie. I drive while listening to your show. You made me pull over to vote. Ryan has to stay and do the show when you go. However, he gets to write your questions because he stayed. That's great, Kelly.
Kelly, get back on the road.
Would you do that, Ryan? Would you do
That's
that
a good deal?
You know what? I'm really willing to do whatever it takes.
That's a good deal.
So if
team player.
That's the way that it goes down.
Thank you
that's
for
the way it
listening
goes
while
down.
you drive, Kelly. We appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you for pulling over and being a good, safe driver as well. That's really good parenting advice.
This Wiggins America is about how to parent your kids better. These are actually things that kids who have the best people skills, this is what their parents are doing to help them. Number one, the parents have honest, developmentally appropriate discussions with their kids. So rather than shielding their kids and avoiding all difficult topics like illnesses or death or big life changes, these parents build trusting relationships with their kids by approaching real, actual, and sometimes tough, open conversations with their kids.
We do a lot of that.
We do too.
It's like no at all judgment on how we were raised, because the 80s and the 90s hit a little different. And the struggles that our children's generation are dealing with the internet being such a huge player in it, you're not quite there yet, right?
We're not to like the phone phase or anything.
The threats that are out there, I'm kind of glad you said this. I'm going to write this down. We might talk about this in the 2 o'clock hour. But there's something called sextortion. I've talked about it before on the show before. But essentially, high school age boys get approached by attractive females, flirting, whatever. They send a pic. They ask for a pic. As soon as your son sends a pic, and this could totally go both ways in the genders, but the article that I read on the USA Today website was about boys, but these teenage boys get convinced that they should send this photo, and once that photo goes on, they're really just scammers from some foreign country, and then they say, you're going to give me this amount of money, and you're going to give it to me right now, and if you don't, I'm going to send this to your parents, I'm going to send this to your church, I'm going to send this to your school, I'm going to publish it everywhere, and everyone's going to know who you really are, and all of this incredibly horrible stuff. And this USA Today article, and it's on sextortion, is all about all these kids who killed themselves because they were so scared. And I, got my son, and I'm like, sit down. I literally said to him yesterday, if you get drunk and run through the street naked, saying the worst things that you could, you can still come to me, and I will still love you. And you better never do that. He smiles like, I know, Mom. But I want him to know that these stories exist so that if it happens, if he makes a bad decision, and I told him, I said, tell your friends the same. If you find out your friend's in a terrible way and they need a safe place to go, let me help them get, I would be able to communicate with their parents very quickly about making sure that they felt safe because their parents loved them. And you have to have real conversations about big things in order, at the right appropriate time. Your kids are probably not ready for it. My son's the only one I've had that conversation with, but.
Well, we could actually just stay on this one because this one actually really is important. Now that you're talking about it, I actually remember
running naked through the streets.
I don't remember that. I know that I did it because there's video.
Gotta love the Dirty Dale.
So I've heard.
If you know, you know. Halloween. No, I remember having conversations, and I really don't remember any particular conversation. But when I was probably an early teen, having conversations mostly about sex or whatever, and just the morality of it. Like, here is what's right, here's what's wrong. Well, at that age, you have a very, very mild understanding of what that even is, or you should. Some kids are probably a little bit more well-versed than I was at that point. But it was really important because I remember as I got older, I'd start to understand more of, that's what this means. This is what this means. But I had the framework of what was right and wrong already established. So I could put these new bits of information into the pre-existing framework, and it helped a lot.
I think that all of these big conversations are easier to have when you have some sort of understandable, agreed upon moral base.
Yes.
And if it exists outside of, well, Mom said this is good and Dad said this is bad, so if it exists, from us and our family, yours as well, it's our Christian faith. I think morality can exist. You know, I think you can understand what is right and what is wrong socially, culturally, without having to say, profess yourself as a Christian. But you could get into the depths of, like, what is it, Nero or whatever. It's like, but why is it wrong? Who determined that it was wrong? Why is it really wrong? Is it all just about power and whatever? So when you have that foundation that is based on a morality that is set and understood for a particular reason, which, in my opinion, like the Bible and the Ten Commandments and, you know, the understanding that there is a guideline that is set, and guess what? You're not going to keep those commandments. You've already failed. You're going to fail again. And there's something else after that. That's how all these I can't have the conversation about sextortion with my 15-year-old son without starting it and ending it with the law and the gospel.
Yeah, totally. However, we're in a place now where you'd almost advocate, look, even if you don't have a depth of understanding or you're uncomfortable with having the conversation and you don't feel like you can go that deep, just have the conversation. You don't have to make it the end-all, be-all. It doesn't have to be the one time we sit down and have this conversation. But just talk.
Want to revisit the list at 1:45?
Yeah, let's do it.
We have Deroy Murdock next on the show, and Kerry Picket is going to join us. We haven't had Kerry on the show before. 1:25. She is a senior congressional reporter for the Washington Times, also a White House correspondent. Kerry Picket wrote an article about what might be happening to James Comey. You guys know what a honeypot is? We're going to talk about it at 1:25. We'll be right back.
Without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 50% off all windows, plus no interest or payments for 2 years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Deal and no deal for Ukraine. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Trump doubling down on his opposition to Ukraine joining NATO, while also confirming the Ukrainian president plans to visit Washington this week to sign an economic deal with the U.S.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky will sign a framework deal with President Trump Friday, granting U.S. access to Ukraine's rare earth minerals.
We've been able to make a deal where we're going to get our money back, and we're going to get a lot of money in the future, and I think that's appropriate.
President Trump has linked a minerals deal with U.S. military aid sent to Ukraine. He says talks are also continuing with Moscow on a potential peace agreement.
I can tell you that NATO you can forget about.
The president says he thinks Ukraine's NATO ambitions led to Russia's invasion, but says Europe is committed to a security guarantee in deploying peacekeepers.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. The president speaking during the first cabinet meeting of his new administration. Elon Musk also taking questions about just how many federal workers will be cut.
We wish to keep everyone who is doing a job that is essential and doing that job well.
He says anyone not doing an essential job or doing it well should not be on the public payroll. The House DOGE subcommittee holding its second hearing focusing on a foreign aid agency.
Chairwoman Marjorie Taylor Greene says USAID has gotten away from its original mission.
Money intended to support democracy is being used as a slush fund for liberal propaganda.
Democrats like Ranking Member Melanie Stansberry once again called on DOGE's Elon Musk to testify and argued his actions are hurting U.S. interests.
Welcome to the Elon Musk Chainsaw Massacre.
Stansberry points out one of the main opponents of USAID is Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz on Capitol Hill. America is listening to Fox News.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare information guide absolutely free. Call 800-939-1331. 800-939-1331. 800-939-1331.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Winds will be turning to the northwest later on today. A bit of a changeable sky, and we'll keep an eye out for a sprinkle or a couple of little light showers. Do not expect much. We should top out at 63 with a little drop in temperature with the northwest wind late today. Tonight, partly cloudy, 38. Thursday, sunny, a little cooler, but still okay, 55. Friday, sunny and 66. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at Zero Res. February, of course, is the month for love. When's the last time you gave your carpet the love and attention it really deserves? Have you gotten down on your hands and knees and adored how clean and refreshed it was? Or are you scared about what you might see or smell? Probably the latter. Keep in mind, not only is your carpet one of the biggest investments in your home, it's the biggest air filter in your home. So if your carpet hasn't been professionally cleaned, you're breathing unhealthy levels of nasty dirt, dander, and bacteria. So during the month of February, Zero Res is going to take care of that. It's the Love Your Rug special. Get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at $119 plus a 4th room clean for free. And don't forget Dirt and Dander's favorite hiding place. That's your air ducts. This month, take $75 off when you get your air ducts professionally cleaned. Zero Res cleaned. Call Zero Res now at 314-474-2020. Make sure you mention my name or 97.1 FM Talk to get the special for the month of February. Call now, 474-2020 or online at ZeroResSTL.com. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res.
Hi, everyone. Brian Kilmeade here with a great announcement, especially everybody here at KFTK. St. Louis, I'm coming to you. March 22nd at the factory on stage. You're going to love this unscripted affair. It's going to be patriotic, inspirational, motivational. I'll go through all my books, give you the anecdotes inside Fox. We'll go over the news, the war on history, and the comeback of this guy, Donald Trump. Mark Reardon's going to join me on stage. Maybe some surprises in the lineup. But most of all, I want to see you. BrianKilmeade.com. Click on tickets. March 22nd at the factory.
97.1 is excited to welcome Brian Kilmeade back to St. Louis.
Hi, everyone. Brian Kilmeade here. I have great news. I'm going to be joining all of you in St. Louis.
Be a part of this event.
March 22nd, St. Louis. You're going to love it.
Get tickets at BrianKilmeade.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Tom Homan, who joined this operation, tells me that they arrested about 90 illegal migrants here. This makes it the largest operation that we have seen under the Trump administration. Homan says this is part of a much larger criminal investigation. He called this phase one and something they have been planning for a while. Early Monday morning, HSI, along with special agents and Texas DPS, made the arrests in and around Colony Ridge, a largely Hispanic development outside of Houston. We sat down with Border Czar Tom Homan right after he joined that operation.
They were a target enforcement operation. We went with warrants on some people. Some were worksite operations, and others were traffic stops conducted by Texas DPS. The last number I saw was like 69 criminals. I know for a fact there were several sexual predators, child predators that were arrested for, sexual misconduct with a child.
So Tom Homan speaking there, of course, Border Czar has been getting the job done for the Trump administration, talking about the efforts that are being made to secure our borders and to make our country safe again. And you have to think to yourself, who in the world would possibly be opposed to what we are seeing Donald Trump's administration do, including through the efforts of Tom Homan? Well, let's talk about it with our friend Deroy Murdock, who joins us once again, a nationally syndicated columnist, Project 21 ambassador, and a Fox News contributor. He has an article in the Daily Signal right now talking about this. Deroy, welcome back to the show.
Annie, great to be with you again.
Thank you. It doesn't seem like this is a difficult one. I don't know how you would look at the type of people that Tom Homan and his outfit is extracting from the United States and be opposed to it, yet it still seems as though a lot of people want to paint it as something other than what it actually is.
Yeah, you've got all these folks who are, yanking their hair out and causing all sorts of difficulties, dragging their feet and otherwise, to prevent ICE from removing people from the country who are illegal alien criminals. And these aren't just shoplifters. These are people involved in robbery, armed robbery, assault, rape, child rape, and murder. And you've got people saying, well, we have this sanctuary situation, so, if some guy has been convicted and he's about to be released from prison or something like that, ICE will come in and put in what's called a retainer, which is called hang on to that guy, we're going to pick him up and deport him. And they'll say, nope, we're just let him go. Won't let you know when he's leaving, and off the guy goes. There's some guy in Massachusetts who was convicted of faced 3 counts of aggravated child rape and 3 counts of forcible child rape by the name of Jose Fernandez Perez from Guatemala. And the Essex County Superior Court in Massachusetts basically said, all right, well, we're not interested in the ICE waiver. We're just going to let him go. It was July of 2022. And this guy was just, walking around having a good time, enjoying himself in New England until February 2nd, when the Trump administration went in and picked him up, and now he's finally in ICE custody. But, he's just walking around having a good time because of the sanctuary laws and all these other things that let these people engage in even child rape and still be able to get away with it until, fortunately, we've got Trump and Tom Homan in charge now, and they're fighting these guys and picking them up and sending them back home. Thankfully.
Yeah. to me, it's the most frustrating. It's very pleasing to see that they're being able to get the job done and all that. But the frustrating part about to me is it really seems like it was just a choice, that all that needed to be done by the administration was choose to remove the bad guys from here and stop them from coming in. And I think we have a great indication that the Biden administration and the Democratic Party chose to put the United States in the peril that it's in right now.
They absolutely did. I mean, the fact that this border has been able to go from, I think, a high of roughly 13,000 people coming in a day under Biden down to, I think, on Saturday, 200 people. That's a 98% decrease in, 5 weeks, something like that. This is a situation. If Joe Biden wanted to, he could have closed the border. I mean, he could have done whatever it was that Trump and Homan have done and actually get serious about border protection, border security. And they didn't do it, and that's because they didn't want to do it. And I think their whole idea was let's get as many people across the border as possible, let them break in, and then give them free services, free hotel rooms here in New York City, free food, free education, free health care. And I guess their hope was that these people at some point would start voting Democrat. And if some children get raped in the process and some people get killed and Lake and Riley gets wiped out, well, that's just, I suppose, collateral damage. And this is sick, disgusting, twisted, and gives us a sense of truly how evil the previous administration was.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. We're speaking with Deroy Murdock right now, a Fox News contributor, a nationally syndicated columnist. He's got an article on this particular topic in the Daily Signal. Personally here in my home state, I, of course, work in St. Louis, Missouri, but I live in Illinois. The Chicago Tribune has an article out right now. It says audit finds thousands were improperly enrolled in state healthcare program for non-citizens while costs were vastly underestimated. The Tribune goes on to say Governor J.B. Pritzker's administration vastly underestimated the cost and popularity of a pair of health insurance programs for immigrants who are not citizens that has ended up costing the state $1.6 billion since the initiative began in 2020. And I will tell you, as a resident in the state of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker is trying to implement a progressive tax now to help cover the costs of the deficit that they're in right now. I mean, J.B. Pritzker is one of the leading critics of Donald Trump, and he can't have his own house in order. I mean, I think that the tentacles of this illegal immigration have gone way, way deeper than people even realize.
Way deeper, and I'm sure there are people who are citizens of Illinois, citizens of America who were born in this country who have all sorts of health challenges and would love to have somebody help them out with their health care bills. And that money, $1.6 billion, can be used to help those people out or be used to build new hospitals or new clinics, hire new doctors for medical research, what have you. And instead it's going to take care of illegal aliens, well, at least non-citizens. Some are illegal, some of them maybe some legal, some illegal, but certainly we should take care of American citizens first. And $1.6 billion, that's just one state. I'm sure you look coast to coast. This is probably somewhere in the scores, if not hundreds of billions of dollars of this money that's going to people who, much of this money is going to people who've broken into this country, including illegal alien criminals and, as I said before, child rapists, as I just discussed in the Daily Signal today.
Deroy Murdock speaking with us right now. Donald Trump said this today, too, during the press conference that was surrounding his first cabinet meeting. But he did highlight the fact, he's like, I want to make sure that this is clear. We want people to come to the United States of America, that we still want immigration, but we want it to be legal immigration. Do you think that the Republican Party as a whole needs to talk more about the good kind of immigration? Or do you think that this is just such a big issue right now that the focus being squarely on purging the illegal immigrants who are here, specifically the ones who are causing this type of great crime like you've written about, that's a prime focus?
I think you make a very good point, and the left is very, very good at this. If you say, look, I want to get illegal alien child rapists out of America, they'll say, why are you against immigrants? They're very good at this, and so they blow up that linguistic smokescreen and try to conflate the pressure we want to put and resistance we want to put on illegal immigration versus people who come here legally with passports, visas, permission, and they come here, work hard, and join the American dream as my mother and father did when they came from Costa Rica in 1962. And so I think it would help linguistically if we use the term illegal alien to refer to people who've broken into our country and refer to legal immigrants for people who've come here with permission and not use the term migrants, which is just a big mush. Who knows what that means? And it's sort of a PC term that I think covers up the fact that we have illegal people here. So I think people think, well, let's be nice. Let's not use the term illegal illegal alien because it's racist or something. Nothing racist about it. It's a legal term that is in the U.S. Code. The Supreme Court uses that term. And I think we should talk about illegal aliens who ought to be booted out of this country versus legal immigrants who come here with permission, who want to work hard and join the American dream. And as long as they come here with our welcome, I wish them luck. I hope that they succeed. I hope they make us proud and make this an even greater country. And the first step is to use the right terminology. Illegal aliens for the folks who ought to be booted, and legal immigrants for those who should stay here.
I think that's a brilliant move. Take the immigrant word out of the illegal portion of it. I think that's a very, very smart thing to do.
That's it. And stop talking about migrants, because that's just as far as migrants are birds who fly in here and then fly away. As far as I'm concerned, migrants don't refer to people.
Deroy, last question before we let you go. This is one of the main areas of what Donald Trump promised that he would do, which is to secure our country and make it safe again. Do you feel very confident about Donald Trump's progress so far, 1 month in?
Oh, it's tremendous. I mean, he is doing a much better job than I thought he'd be able to accomplish, not just in terms of immigration, but in terms of so much else that he's attempted to do. The radical transparency, I saw something just the other day that in the first month he answered something like 1,014 questions, I believe, versus something like 114 on the part of Joe Biden. He's answered 7 times as many questions, constantly available to the media. We've seen what he's been able to do on DEI, what he's been able to do on with the illegal aliens. Just yesterday last night we had the one big bill passed in the House, which means looks like this Trump tax cuts will be extended. His level of energy and focus and relentlessness are just amazing for a man of 78 years old. I mean, wow! Imagine if you were 68.
Yeah.
Boy, this is just the busiest man of almost 80 years old I've ever seen in my life. I've got friends of mine. In fact, a very good friend of mine works on Capitol Hill. He happens to be about 26, 27. He's one of these people who needs a lot of sleep. He's sometimes asleep by 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night. I told him, you better not go work at the White House because he will last one day. Trump will look at you and say, you're fired. So
I
really
love
quite
that.
something.
Deroy, we appreciate you. Thank you for being with us today.
You bet. Great talking to you, Eddie. Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye-bye. He's one of these people who needs a lot of sleep. Is that a generational thing? I feel, have you ever, Brad, you've probably heard this because you're up on internet lingo, probably the most of us, but like bed rotting. Have you heard of the term?
Bed rotting? Yeah.
Explain it.
Well, that's just when you lay in bed all day and you don't do anything and all you do is like scroll on your phone or whatever. So it's a combination of laying in bed and doom scrolling, which is just scrolling infinitely on your phone, not doing anything.
Here's the thing. That's like everybody's goal. It's like the day that you want to have, but you're a productive human being, so you don't get to do that. You dream of that day. Maybe, I think that my generation, being an elder millennial, probably Gen Xers, you hear of like, oh, I'm going to take a mental health day. And you roll your eyes, but then you're like, but maybe I'll take a mental health day. Like, maybe I will take a mental health day. That wouldn't suck.
Those are the worst.
The difference here between these generations is that if you find yourself rotting in your bed, scrolling forever on your phone, covered up to your eyeballs and hiding from the world, you used to have the self-respect not to tell anybody about it. But this younger generation, Gen Z, is like, let's name it. And then we'll hashtag it on TikTok and tell everybody, I'm taking a mental health day, gonna go rot in my bed. For me, shut up. Just, you know what? If you've got to take a day, if you absolutely have to take a day, take the day. Doesn't need to have a name. Everything doesn't need to have a name. But when I hear Deroy Murdock say, this 26-year-old very good friend of mine in Washington, D.C., he's the type who needs a lot of sleep. Oh, that hits hard. You know what? I need a lot of sleep. I don't get it. That's why I need it. I don't sleep a whole lot. I sleep more than I used to. I started prioritizing sleep and figuring it out and taking a lot of melatonin. It's gotten better. I'm usually asleep now definitely by midnight. And that's not this. Every once in a while I get one of these things where I'm solving the world's problems at 3 a.m. Just not as much as I used to. Let's take a quick break. We're going to speak with Kerry Picket next. I'm excited to talk to Kerry Picket. She wrote an article in the Washington Times, and the headline here is very interesting. FBI is looking into James Comey's off-the-books honeypot operation targeting the 2016 Trump campaign. So we got a whole new situation at the FBI, and now they're pulling the curtain back. Are they going to find anything? What the heck is a honeypot? That sounds very interesting. We're going to find out. From Kerry Picket, the author of this article, she's doing the work. We're going to bring it to you next on The Andy Fry Show. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
RulerFoods.com. If you are looking for the Ruler Foods closest to you, you've heard me talking about saving money on your groceries. I just don't know why you wouldn't have gone already. You got to give it a chance. Make it like a field trip. It's fun. It's exciting. Go find a new snack. Go find something that you, at lunchtime here, maybe you find something that you've gotten a million times at another place. Just go see the comparison at Ruler Foods and then be like, oh, why did I want to spend more money every time I went to the grocery store? That was silly. Should have listened to Annie sooner. RulerFoods.com has the place where you can put in your zip code. You can find a Ruler Foods close to your home, close to your place of work. They're in Missouri and Illinois. I've been to both, to Ruler Foods in both different places. They're all over the metro area. You can save on strawberries right now, a 1 pound package, $2.49 each. Avocados, 89 cents each. Kroger 80% lean ground beef sold in a 3 pound roll, just $3.99 a pound. You can also save on Kroger shredded or bar cheese, 3 for $5. We go through so much cheese in our house. I don't know where all the cheese goes. But we buy it, it gets eaten, it's gone, and we need more. So we absolutely need to save, of course. Save on all of the products that you love. Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices. Find yours at rulerfoods.com.
Have you ever been sitting around or driving like you're probably doing right now? Man, I think I need a new furnace or an air conditioner. Have you? I mean, I think about you thinking about it all the time. Regardless of what's going on right now with the economy and with these mandates and the prices going absolutely crazy, I would have to say, without a question, the best time to buy is actually right now. No gimmicks, no tricks. 5 years, no interest on a furnace and air conditioner. Get your prices, get your quotes, get your monthly payments, and then call me and buy now to where you can make your choice and you can still get the so-called inefficient models. Call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, the easiest number, Missouri and Illinois, and your only number, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. Now that is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at Zero Res. February, of course, is the month for love. And when's the last time you gave your carpet the love and attention it really deserves? Have you gotten down on your hands and knees and adored how clean and refreshed it was? Or are you scared about what you might see or smell? Probably the latter. Keep in mind, not only is your carpet one of the biggest investments in your home, it's the biggest air filter in your home. So if your carpet hasn't been professionally cleaned, you're breathing unhealthy levels of nasty dirt, dander, and bacteria. So during the month of February, Zero Res is going to take care of that. It's the Love Your Rug special. Get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at $119 plus a 4th room clean for free. And don't forget Dirt and Dander's favorite hiding place. That's your air ducts. This month, take $75 off when you get your air ducts professionally cleaned. Zero Res cleaned. Call Zero Res now at 314-474-2020. Make sure you mention my name or 97.1 FM Talk to get the special for the month of February. Call now, 474-2020, or online at ZeroResSTL.com. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at GSLHonorFlight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Wednesday afternoon at 5:25, Nita Arnold with the Manhattan Institute will talk about how left-wing activism has corrupted America's schools.
The Mark Reardon Show. Weekdays from 3 to 6. Right here on 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Fry Show.
They say, oh my God, I see the way you shine. Take your hand, my dear, and place them both in mine. You know you stopped me dead while I was passing by. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. Ooh, I see you every time. And oh my, I like your style. You make me wanna cry. And now I beg to see you dance.
Are you concerned that it may get
a test unlike any other if Donald Trump is reelected. I mean, when you think about a second Trump administration, what do you think the implications would be for the FBI?
Oh, serious, for the Justice Department and the FBI, because Trump is coming for those institutions. He knows their power, and I think he has regrets that he didn't work hard enough to corrupt them last time. So he's coming for them, and that's a danger for all Americans. He's going to put people in positions in those organizations. He didn't have all-stars the last time. He'll have the bottom of the barrel this time, but people who will want to do his will, and that should worry every American. This election matters. Because of a reason like that, people have to participate. You cannot sit on the sideline. I don't care how you feel about Joe Biden, you must vote for him because the consequences on the other side are too severe.
Well, there's James Comey just pleading with you, do not let Donald Trump win. Don't let him win. What's at stake at the FBI? Well, maybe we're about to find out, because it looks like the Kash Patel, FBI director now, is going to look into some of the things that took place in the past, and maybe that's bad for James Comey, maybe it's not. There are people looking into this, and we wanted to speak to a reporter with the Washington Times. Kerry Picket joins us now, and Kerry has written an article about the FBI looking into James Comey, and I can't wait to hear the story, Kerry, of what you've discovered so far. The White House correspondent for Washington Times. We appreciate you being with us here today, Kerry. Thanks for the time.
Thanks for having me, Annie. Yeah, I'd like to, point out that this is a story that I originally broke back in October, and not just October, but October 29th. Ooh. Okay, and when was that? That was about 6 days before the election. So while a lot of people on X and a few people here and there picked it up, not a lot of people really knew that it was out there. So the big change that really happened yesterday was the fact that we had the weaponization hearing that happened up on Capitol Hill, and you had Kash Patel, of course, he's the new FBI director, and then you had Dan Bongino, the new deputy director. So everyone's like, what is he going to do first? What is he going to do first? And all of a sudden, I say, oh, by the way, I'm hearing all of a sudden that we had this honeypot off the books operation that I reported back in October that was launched by Comey back in 2015. This predated Crossfire Hurricane. That was the Russia collusion investigation. That was 1 year later. Well, you had Crossfire. You had this 1 year before that. This other investigation that was launched by James Comey, looking for something on Trump, anything on Trump that was launched by his team that was not put into the computer system, and they said, hey, let's send some honeypots into his campaign and just find anything on him. And some people say, well, hey, he was in charge of the FBI, he can do that. No, he can't do that because there has to be some sort of predicated circumstances to launch an investigation into anybody, and at the time there wasn't. So now we are finding out that Kash Patel is interested in looking into that particular off-the-books operation. Now, is it an official investigation? Probably not, but they are interested in it.
Oh, man. Kerry Picket here with the Washington Times. So there's a couple parts of what you've just said there that I want to flush out a little bit more for people who might not be as fully aware of some of the vocabulary that we're talking about here. And the particular point that you said, they weren't sending these people in to investigate a specific crime. It was more of a fishing expedition, which you highlight in your article on the Washington Times. When you say honeypot, that James Comey was putting together this honeypot mission, what does that look like?
Okay. A honeypot, let me just properly define that. Commonly refers to an undercover operative. Usually it's a woman, of course. Yeah, it can be that can mean anything these days. Who feigns a sexual or a romantic interest to get information from a target. Okay, yeah, we've seen that all the time in James Bond movies. Okay, and generally speaking, what we found here in this off the books investigation. And by the way, in these new disclosures that were just dropped off to the Senate side, one of the whistleblowers didn't even want to call it an investigation that was launched by Comey. They are describing it as a scheme. Okay, and yet now that there's not just one FBI whistleblower, there are many whistleblowers now that are calling out James Comey. And what is interesting here is that we are now finding out that one of the honeypots wasn't just a honeypot, but was also a handler of the undercover agents. So this is a very interesting development. I have a new story out today. Definitely go check it out at WashingtonTimes.com. And what we're finding out here is that this particular honeypot was also a handler of maybe perhaps other undercover agents who attempted, and perhaps successfully, to infiltrate Donald Trump's 2016 campaign. And that is a very interesting development here. Also, the first whistleblower tried to, inform. You had a special counsel, John Durham, and when this whistleblower told John Durham, the FBI found out about it and ended up retaliating against this whistleblower. And not only that, but John Durham ignored this whistleblower and didn't include this whistleblower's information about this illegal operation in his report.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, I'm really glad we were able to connect with you on this story because you've obviously been way ahead of it, reporting on it even before the election took place last year. We're speaking with Kerry Picket. She's a senior congressional reporter for the Washington Times. I think that this is something that certainly has a lot of interest. It's going to have a lot of legs. And you're telling me, I'm reading here in your article that's on the Washington Times, you said the whistleblower agent, quote, personally knew, end quote, that Mr. Comey ordered an FBI investigation into Mr. Trump and that Mr. Comey, quote, personally directed it, end quote, according to the disclosure. So it seems as though there's going to be a lot to discover, to draw out with this investigation that will come from Kash Patel as he leads the FBI. Do you expect a lot of this information to be made public quickly?
Probably, I don't even know the timeline on this. I think right now you still have, it's only been a few days since Kash Patel was sworn in. It's only been a few days since Dan Bongino became deputy director. So, right now you have Senator Grassley's office, just got the new disclosure. So let's give it some time and see where it leads right now. But I would imagine that you have Donald Trump definitely wants to know who these people are, because ultimately people need to know that the FBI culture still has old hands, old senior executives who are loyal to James Comey, who are loyal to former Deputy Director Paul Abate, as well as former Deputy Director Andy McCabe and former Director Christopher Wray. People can think, yay, we have Patel in there, we have Bongino, but the culture is still entrenched with the old leadership. And they're going to have to deal with that first.
Well, the number one way, in my opinion, that this gets dramatically, quickly changed for everybody's good, the American people's good, is if journalists like you, Kerry, are able to look into this, expose it, report on it so the American people can have their say. And I'm really grateful to talk to you. I hope that you'll come back on with us. We're going to watch your reporting on this and keep us updated as the story continues to unfold.
Sure thing.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. Kerry Picket, senior congressional reporter for the Washington Times. Very interesting conversation there with her. This is, to me, this is huge. If you're thinking about what Donald Trump has been saying for the years that he has been fisticuffs with the media, with the establishment, it's almost even grosser how Republicans have used the scandals that surround Donald Trump as a way to try to empower themselves, as a way to level themselves up. You've heard me say on this show, especially in the primary, I love Ron DeSantis. I have no problem reconciling my love for Ron DeSantis and my love for Donald Trump. my biggest concern in the primary was that Donald Trump would be able to overcome everything that was being thrown at him. I wasn't sure that that would be possible. Obviously, I was wrong about that. But Donald Trump has had to fight people off from the left and the right. And so much of it has been fabricated. And people like Kerry Picket at the Washington Times looking into something that happened in 2016 might seem like, is that really the best use of your time? You're gosh darn right. It is a fantastic use of her time. Because if you can prove at the very beginning, the genesis of all of this, that he has been fighting an incredibly unfair fight this entire time, that to me has huge implications for not necessarily the future of the Republican Party, because they can still screw it up on their own, but where have the Democrats been? Where has the establishment been? Donald Trump has always been competing against the system, the bureaucracy, the status quo. And at this point in time, he's winning, and I think he's winning big.
You almost have to ask the question when you see enough of this stuff, which we have now. We've seen it for 10 years, that they just keep doing everything possible to stop him. Why him? You know, what is it about him that not even the left, but the establishment, the institutions, the agencies that exist, why were they willing to break their own rules, bend over backwards, become hypocritical even in their own eyes to stop this guy? Is it because of what he's finding now? You know, what is this next 4 years going to look like now that he's back in power and can investigate all these people who are willing to break all the rules to stop him?
I want to know everything.
Me too.
I want to know all of it. You know what I really, there is a real actual part of me, you know, like we should make a list of conspiracy theories that exist.
Okay.
We should start doing that. Start writing them down when you think of them, and then we'll throw some out. If we don't get to it today in the show, it sounds like a fun Friday thing to do. But just a list of conspiracies that you know, like, well, I don't need. We'd actually have to make the list, and we'd have to determine whether any of them have been solved or confirmed or whatever. But there's so many eyebrow-raising moments in the last 10 years. I'm really looking forward to some of them coming up and being like, that wasn't true. Thank God.
Well, that hasn't happened that much. That's what's unique about it.
Just today in the cabinet meeting press conference, Donald Trump's going on this tangent about questionable boxes of ballots. They're there and then they're not there. Why are they not there? Where did they go? We have it, you know. He's saying these things, and I have to think there are people in the room going, "Yeah, I could have done without that. Could have skipped that point." But I want the 100% unfettered facts so that Trump can stop saying that stuff. It's not true, but I don't. People will be like, "Oh, that's been debunked." I don't believe anything. I don't. If we're talking about going back to 2015. Before Donald Trump was even the nominee, going back to 2015, and James Comey is privately, as the director of the FBI, sending in honeypots. And no, you cannot apply to be a honeypot, Ryan. Stop asking.
You don't have to apply.
So,
it just comes upon you naturally.
Is that why you're here?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I've done a terrible job.
They've made a terrible mistake.
Yeah. I'm like 6 years into this. I haven't found anything.
You're like, I thought there were going to be honeypots
You came
for my sandwiches.
You came here to catch Annie, and you got me. How did that happen?
Oh, yeah.
It's not worked out well.
No.
But they're paying me, so.
Are they?
Yeah. The funding's about to go away, I can tell you that.
In oatmeal cream pies. It's like, say no more. I can handle this. To go back to 2015, that James Comey, to the point of what Kerry Picket is saying here, the investigation did not appear to target a specific crime, but was more of what agents would describe as a fishing expedition to find anything incriminating against Mr. Trump. That is un-American. Mm-hmm. And honestly, if you're trying to kick somebody out of the race to be vetted by the American people, true to be nominee, and then possibly president, why is that not treasonous?
It is treasonous.
Well, then, get him.
The thing that's like wildly underlying all of that is they're saying we don't trust the American people to vet their candidates. We don't trust you guys. You don't know what's best for you, and therefore you don't need to self-rule, self-governance, which is what the United States is built on.
Mr. Trump launched his presidential campaign on June 16, 2015, about a year before FBI opened Crossfire Hurricane. And this whistleblower, there are two whistleblowers, I believe. Or let's see, there's one. Talks about one. It says the off-the-books investigation launched in 2015 by FBI Director James B. Comey was revealed by an agency whistleblower in a protected disclosure to the House Judiciary Committee last year and first reported exclusively by the Washington Times in October by Miss Kerry Picket, who was just on the show with us. In the intelligence community, a honeypot commonly refers to an undercover operative, usually a woman who feigns sexual or romantic interest to obtain information from a target for oatmeal cream pie.
I sort of went backwards. So I started with what's the payment, and I'll do whatever it takes. And then when I heard oatmeal cream pies, I'm like, well, what's that job?
Little Debbie.
Yeah. I had to
say no more.
Man, I had to make myself so much more attractive. Because they were like, you are not good looking enough to be a honeypot. I was like, well, you pay in oatmeal cream pies. It's your fault.
Yeah. Maybe you need to up your payment system.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break. Let's revisit your Weekends America, some parenting tips. Is that what you got? All right. We'll do that when we come back. The YouTube live chat poll. Should Annie apply for the opportunity for a press pass at the White House now that Carolyn Leavitt said they're pretty much reshaping the whole thing and specifically said, we want the voices of local radio show hosts. No, not yet. That'll be the next one. Gray-haired, middle-aged, female.
Patriot AFs.
That's right.
That's what they said.
Right here. Go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel and vote. I said if we get to 400 votes, I will begin the process today. We're at 337.
Yeah, so you got to vote.
337. Should I apply? Get there and vote. See if we can make it by the end of the show. We'll be right back.
And when you're done, I'm back to be
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is online. Their website for Michael's Flooring Outlet is igotfloored.com. If you shop online first before you go into one of their 3 St. Louis locations, you can shop all of their products. That's obvious. It's kind of hard to look online and see a square of a Techwood Plus, flooring plank, or maybe you're looking at the Mohawk Smart Strand carpeting. You see it and you're like, okay, well, that looks nice, but I kind of need a little bit more than that. That's why you're going to end up in one of the Michael's Flooring Outlets, different shops that they have around the St. Louis area after you go to igotfloored.com. But you can do some other vetting on their website. You can request an estimate there so you have a pretty good idea of cost expenditure. You can also read reviews at igotfloored.com, which I think is a very helpful thing to do. I am a huge when it comes to reading reviews to make good, sound financial purchases with my hard-earned dollar. Michael's understands that. They appreciate you and your hard-earned dollar, and they're going to deliver you quality and value and great customer service when you come in to shop at Michael's. Find them online at igotfloored.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars Lose the Weight and Stop Smoking. Early bird specials $49.99. Seminar Sunday, March 16th. Aviator Hotel and Suites, South I-55, St. Louis. Weight loss 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Or Monday, March 17th, 4 Point Sheraton, St. Louis. Fairview Heights, Fairview Heights. Weight loss 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m.
We all have different ideas of the perfect retirement, but they all depend on the same thing: not running out of money. And preparing for retirement can sometimes be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Find out how you could build your retirement on your terms. Join host Steve All for the All Financial Hour Saturday mornings at 6 here on 97.1 FM Talk.
You can also visit yourmoneymattersstl.com for more details.
The question we're asking you today is, should Annie apply for the opportunity for a press pass at the White House? Yes or no? And if you say no, you have to say who you'd send instead. It's the YouTube live chat poll of the day. And, oh, yeah, you're right. We want you to say yes. Annie, turn your mic on. All right. 1:45, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Cox. Join me and the St. Charles County Republican Central Committee for the Lincoln Trump Dinner Friday, March 21st at Old Hickory Golf Club. Get your tickets now and learn about sponsorship opportunities at 971talk.com/events.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I said a hip hop, the hip me to the hip hop, you don't stop the rockin' to the bang bang boogie. Say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what you hear is not a test, I'm rapping to the beat. And me, the groove, and my friends are gonna try to move your feet. You see, I am one.
I don't know. People don't want me to interrupt them right now. They're getting down with the Rapper's Delight.
Mm-hmm.
Can you sing this?
Do you always think of Wedding Singer when you hear this song?
No, I think of my friend Aaron, who could sing this entire thing when he was 14. I bet he still can. He listens to the show a lot too, and this is a test, Aaron. Let me know if you heard this. Can you sing the song?
No, I don't. I mean, I've heard it 1,000 times, but I don't know a single word
but
of it.
But old lady goes,
a
hip hop,
a hip it
to a hip it now, a hip hip hop, and you don't stop, rock it to the bang bang. Yeah, I totally. Then she pays him in meatballs.
I don't remember that part.
Oh, what?
Yeah. That was the.
She's like, you're so sweet, letting me pay you in meatballs, and then she puts a meatball in each hand. And he's like, you're welcome.
It's like a 17-minute song.
Oh, it's such a good movie.
Did you ever notice that all the adults in Adam Sandler movies are pretty much whacked out, screwed up weirdos?
They're funny.
And the kids are basically normal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That movie's The Wedding Singer, if you didn't catch that. You don't like The Wedding Singer. It's one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies.
It's where he jumped the shark for me.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't say that because there are movies after that I still enjoyed. It was just that he blew my mind so much with Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore that when I went to see Wedding Singer, I was like, oh, no.
I don't know that was really for you. A lot of what he makes now is funny rom-coms.
I get it. And that's not for me. It definitely wasn't for me when I was 15.
Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison both are not romantic movies. There's a love interest in Happy Gilmore. I don't know that you would call it a love interest. It is a lust interest more, in my opinion, in Billy Madison.
Billy Madison, yeah, there wasn't much love there.
Want to touch the hiney.
Yeah, they're playing like strip trivia.
The only part of Billy Madison, I watched Billy Madison with my son. It was time. We fast forwarded through the part where where the teacher is tutoring him.
Yeah.
In the outside tent.
That's what I'm talking about.
I couldn't remember what happened. I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna fast forward, and then I paused, and it was like Chris Farley was half undressed, and I was like, oh yeah,
that is correct.
And now I'm like, now I'm really doing you a favor. We're gonna continue fasting.
What did he think of Chris Farley? Like, he didn't grow up with Chris Farley. What does he think of Chris Farley?
He didn't have enough big enough role. He's the bus driver.
But so is that his only exposure to the man, the myth, the legend?
Probably.
Really?
I've never seen Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy's weird. It's funny, but it's not one that I'm like, I really want to go watch that again.
It's been on the television. It's been carried on TV for so long, and I never, ever want to watch those movies on TV for the first time commercials and stuff, like totally kills the flow. It's probably edited. I just never did. It's one of those that I need to sit down and watch. I'm always afraid that I'm going to see it and I'm going to hate it because I didn't see it when it was relevant.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, I'm the person who doesn't like Tommy Boy.
Have you never seen it, though?
No, I've never seen it.
No idea if that movie
I like Tommy Boy.
ages
I think
well.
it's better than Black Sheep, which I think is the other kind of him and David Spade movie that he did. But Tommy Boy I like.
Tommy Boy is a movie that I'm certain I would go watch, and there would be so many things that have been lifted out of Tommy Boy that I didn't know were from Tommy Boy.
Yeah. Fat guy in a little coat.
Fat guy in a little coat. See, I know
It's
that.
from that. Yeah. The whole speech about you can put your head up a butcher's butt and all that.
It's not.
People, it's hard to quote because he's misquoting his dad when he says it. But people quote it halfway all the time.
You want to go back to your list?
Yeah, I guess so. These are, once again.
We only did one.
I know. We got through one. Ways in which you are helping your kids be better and have better people skills.
The YouTube poll's up to 369 votes.
Okay, 31 more people. All right, the next one on this list, helping your kids process emotions, which when I read it, it sounds very modern and new agey, but it's very important.
Soft?
It does, because it reads like this. They help their kids name and process big emotions.
How did your parents help you process your emotions when you were a child?
I don't know. They just listened. You know, if I had a problem, I think I could talk to them, and
Did
they
you
would
go
listen
to your parents
it.
a lot?
I remember talking with my mom a lot, and I'm sure I talked with my dad too. But it's similar now, I would think, with my kids, where my kids, if they're having a really bad day, they want to go talk to mom because mom's going to be compassionate, listen.
Soft.
I'm going to hear it and go,
suck it up.
well, here's the solution. And then that's about it. But you know, I knew that I could talk to them.
Did you talk to your parents?
Me? No. You asked Ryan how my parents or how
Did you
his
talk
parents
to
helped
Ryan's
him.
parents?
No. But like my parents would always give me a reason to experience whatever. I'll give you a reason to experience whatever emotion you're experiencing.
If I have problems now, I go talk to Annie's parents.
I know. What the heck?
It's wild.
Yeah. It's just crazy the world we live in, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
I
can't hear the look Annie just
I
gave
have
me.
never
Maybe
had
they
that
can.
conversation with my parents.
It might.
I don't remember ever having like deep, emotionally thoughtful,
I don't
massaged
either.
out conversations with my parents. Would they have had those conversations with me? I think they loved me. I always knew that they loved me, even if I was a pill the whole time I was growing up. But I don't feel like that's where I was going to go to get help processing my emotions.
Well, now when you say it that way, me either. I wasn't like, oh, I'm having trouble with this. I think I'm going to go talk to my parents. That's not, you just don't do that.
It's imperative to me
But I want my kids to do
that my children feel that they can come to me
Yeah.
and talk about literally anything, and that I'm going to say I won't judge them for their emotions. I've repeated this over and over and over again, but I've also, since I've repeated it, had multiple, almost every time I say this, somebody messages me and is like, that was incredibly helpful. I read when Charlie was maybe 2, I would get a monthly probably email from maybe Babies R Us. I don't even know. But they would say, your child is now 24 months. At this time, kids may be experiencing this. They've probably mastered that, and they might be, okay. So you go through this list of what happens at 2 months. But one time it said that your children are experiencing all the same emotions that you are, but they don't know how to handle those emotions yet in a civilized fashion. And it's your job as a parent to guide them from just being completely emotionally reactive to thoughtful in how they respond. And it's never about, I try to never, ever disrespect the emotion that my kid is feeling, or honestly anybody is feeling, but I do want to get to the facts and the basis of it so that we can address what the problem is. And the example they gave is if you're eating an ice cream cone and the ice cream falls off onto the ground, you're going to feel ticked about that. And then you're going to go solve the problem. A child that doesn't know that there might be another ice cream cone that could be eaten on the other side of that dropped ice cream cone just freaks out and throws a tantrum.
Mm-hmm.
You got to teach him to own the emotion. You're just going to feel the same thing. You got to teach him to handle it.
Yeah, and give them perspective. There's another ice cream cone right over the rainbow, Junior. Number 3 is give them perspective. Actually, foster empathy and perspective taking. This is one that I do feel like I'm pretty good at, and I don't know if this is like a dad thing, but it is something that anytime my kids come to me, it's important to put their problem into the larger scope of life.
Yeah.
And
your problems are really big to you.
Yeah.
But let's open the viewfinder.
Yeah, it doesn't mean minimize the problem, but it does mean, and sometimes it's honestly just in light of eternity, buddy, this is something that you think is a problem today, or is this a problem that's ongoing that we really need to deal with? That kind of stuff.
And also, what can you do about it? Because if the answer is nothing, then we got to figure out what we're going to do next. No dwelling.
Yeah, I've been talking to my son quite a bit about he has trouble with playground rules that he's like, but these rules don't make any sense. And I'm like, buddy, you're right. Those rules are worthless. They're like rules for the sake of rules. And I said, now what? But what are you going to do about it? And that's what we're really talking through. Is I'm like, buddy, you're going to face rules that you don't think make sense for your whole life.
Mutiny.
So are you going to rebel against them? Because sometimes
take over the system, kid.
Sometimes bad rules need to be rebelled against.
I'd like to sit down with your child.
Other times, you need to find where's God at in it, because is he trying to teach you something bigger here?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're just having those conversations right now, but I think that's all about perspective.
Yeah.
Getting to one more here. Encouraging problem solving on their own while also boundary setting. Boundary setting is extremely important for kids.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what those boundaries are, it's like they crave them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we are a society that says no boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, like if you've got a parent who is, there's a difference between suggesting to your kids what they should and shouldn't do and setting boundaries. It's like, no, I don't control my kid, but I do get to determine what is acceptable and what isn't. And when my child decides it's time to go cross my boundary into what is unacceptable, then that child has made a choice to incur the consequence of those actions. And it's my job as a parent to enforce consequences that are a deterrent from crossing that boundary line.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just make suggestions. Suggestions are not boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah, boundaries are important, not just for kids. I mean, but boundaries are important for people.
Mm-hmm.
I creatively
Laws.
do better when I have a system to work within. Sometimes you rebel against that system, but it's part of the creative process.
Yeah, well, those are all good suggestions, I think. Let's take a quick break. 2 o'clock hour when we come back. We're going to start making our list of conspiracies off air. If you've got some to suggest to us, we're going to try to figure out which ones have been determined and debunked. Annie Fry YouTube channel. We'll be right back.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 50% off all windows and 0% interest for 6 years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
They'll take downsizing to the next level. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The Trump administration telling federal agencies to prepare not only for large-scale layoffs, but eliminating positions.
Billionaire Elon Musk joined the first cabinet meeting of President Trump's second term, detailing plans to eliminate thousands of federal workers. A memo from the Office of Management and Budget directs cabinet secretaries and agency heads to prepare for a large-scale reduction in force and develop reorganization plans by March 13th.
We're cutting down government. We're cutting down the size of government. We have to. We're bloated. We're sloppy.
President Trump says the administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency thinks as much as 65% of the agency's employees could be let go.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Democratic Congressman Seth Moulton tells Fox News there are better ways to make government more efficient.
The way that Musk and Doge are going about this, they're not just trying to make government more efficient, they're trying to make it non-existent.
He says Democrats should advocate for responsible government reform. Just getting reports a federal judge is extending an order that blocks the firing of a watchdog agency chief as that and other legal fights over federal worker cuts continue. The new Agriculture Secretary has a multi-point plan to help lower egg prices after a spike driven by bird flu crushing supply.
The bird flu virus first hit poultry farms during the Biden administration, and those farmers were forced to slaughter most or all of their birds due to exposure to the virus.
Fox's Mike Manuel. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins says the administration will invest $1 billion to fight avian flu and consider importing eggs soon, while also rolling back regulations on producers. The U.S. Transportation Department is telling New York City its congestion pricing program must end by March 21st. This after recently rescinding federal approval of it. 2 New York City transit agencies have already sued, trying to keep it going. America is listening to Fox News.
When you're in the thick of a project, Harbor Freight is the place that always comes in handy. Whether you're picking up something for your pickup truck or a power tool for your project, at Harbor Freight, your dollar always goes further. And these days, when everything seems to cost more, you can take pride in knowing that you get hard-working tools at hard-working prices. Whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare information guide absolutely free. Call 800-939-1331. 800-939-1331. 800-939-1331.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Winds will be turning to the northwest later on today. A bit of a changeable sky, and we'll keep an eye out for a sprinkle or a couple of little light showers. Do not expect much. We should top out at 63 with a little drop in temperature with the northwest wind late today. Tonight, partly cloudy, 38. Thursday, sunny, a little cooler, but still okay, 55. Friday, sunny and 66. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
After almost 30 years, Lacefield Music is closing their location at South County Mall forever, and everything must go. Hi, this is Kathy from Lacefield Music, and lack of mall traffic has forced Lacefield Music to make this very difficult decision. But what an incredible opportunity for anyone who is searching for a piano. Save big on Yamaha pianos, keyboards, Lowry organs, and all the top brands of pianos. Also, up to 80% off sheet music and accessories during our South County Mall closing sale. All the pianos are at rock bottom prices. Many pianos are one of a kind, but once they're gone, they're gone. Oh, and don't worry, our Chesterfield location is here to stay and will remain open to serve all of your musical needs. Rush in today before the South County store closes for good and take advantage of massive discounts. South County, we thank you for all the years of support and great memories. Remember, Chesterfield will remain open for all of your piano and musical needs.
Hey guys, it's Mark Reardon. If you're struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain, Game Day Men's Health has got you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more in all of a relaxed man cave environment. At Game Day, you'll get a free testosterone test and consultation, all in just 1 hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Get back in the game with Game Day Men's Health.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at NewNordicUSA.com or CVS. That's NewNordicUSA.com.
Did you all hear what's going on with these energy mandates? I've been told they don't make a lot of sense, and I'm in the business. I agree 100%. Actually, they make 0 sense. So here's the easiest thing, and the only thing I have on a recommendation. You're going to need a new furnace or a new air conditioner. Just call me for a just common sense approach to your heating and cooling needs for your house. If your system is old or you just want to replace a system, now just call me. It's Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest and the only one, Missouri and Illinois, is 314-293-2600. Again, it's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, or on the internet, it's bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
The Annie Fry Show.
Jonathan Lucroy is a former Major League Baseball catcher.
Thank you for what you do, by the way, Annie. I appreciate you being vocal as well. We need strong, moral people to keep speaking out and just call it out.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. The YouTube live chat poll today has a little something to do with Carolyn Levitt's words yesterday.
So for your audience who may not understand what has happened at this White House for decades, you have a group of journalists based here in Washington, D.C., who dictate which reporters go into the most intimate spaces of the American presidency, the Oval Office, who gets to ride on Air Force One. And that system hasn't changed since the early 1900s. Obviously, the media today in 2025 looks a heck of a lot different than it did when the White House Correspondents Association was formed. So this is a long overdue change. A lot of press secretaries and White Houses have talked about making this change. We are just the first to do it. We're shaking up Washington in more ways than one. And so moving forward, we're going to expand the pool's access to the president, to non-traditional journalists.
So Carolyn Levitt saying they're going to expand the pool of access to the president, and that's the YouTube poll for today. Should I apply for the opportunity for a press pass at the White House? Yes or no? When I asked this, I don't usually ask you guys to like approve or weigh in on the poll question. I kind of just do it. But today I asked you guys because I was asking a question about me, and I feel kind of weird about doing that. And you guys both said, well, people are going to, good conversation starter, but you guys both said people are going to vote yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we usually try to find something out with the poll. But you guys said it would be a good discussion to have regarding what they're trying to do with the press pool. I said in the beginning of the show that while it is leaning yes, that if I got to 400 votes today, that I would after the show take action to try to figure out how to do this. So we are 6 votes away from 400 votes.
When you apply, do you send in some sort of video?
I don't know what the process is.
Because if you do...
you have suggestions?
Yeah, you remember that Kimberly Klacik video where she was running for office and she was just walking around the city like taking names? I'm picturing that.
Where, do I walk in Missouri or Illinois? Or do I cross the bridge?
I think you cross the bridge. You
Yeah.
spend actually a good portion of the video crossing the Stan Musial Bridge.
Walking across the bridge.
Yeah, right down the median.
We're out of time.
No, this is going to be like a 15 to 20 minute video. And they have to watch them all, as I understand it, legally.
I don't know if I will be walking across the Stan Musial Bridge. I don't know what. I mean, this was just mentioned yesterday. There was a previous. They've had like the head of news at X sitting in the press room. They have one chair. You have to sit in a special chair. Now,
is it a bigger chair or
no,
is it just a chair?
I think it's a smaller chair.
It's not like a throne or something?
It's like a stool. No, I'm kidding. They have it off to the side. They're kind of sitting with where maybe the assistant press secretary would sit, or maybe somebody else who's going to come step up and speak on behalf of another department. So they actually kind of have a feature seat to the side. But, I mean, it's true. The Annie Frey Show is not on the level of the head of news at X. When you're talking about alternative media than the major outlets that are traditionally in the press room or in the press pool, that's not something that I would think we qualified for. So it's kind of watching and seeing who is in that chair. And I'm thinking, okay, these are big league people. We're not big leagues. What league would you say that we are here on the Annie Frey Show?
I wouldn't say JV. I would say we're varsity. Yeah, but the others like are
2A?
like pro. So we're just a high school varsity.
Like big dogs on campus?
Yeah.
Small campus.
Yes. Big man on campus, but you're still in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So you haven't graduated.
You don't show up and be like, all right, guys, I'm here. Everybody sit down.
Right.
You would. You would do that.
Oh, I'd strut around no matter what. Call it peacocking.
But then yesterday, that's all he tells people.
Yeah.
Yesterday, she announces that they want to expand it even further. They're talking about basically dismantling the authority that the White House Correspondents Association has. Now, traditionally, the White House Correspondents Association assembles the press pool and selects who's going to be in these places. They're now saying that they're going to stop paying attention to that and they're going to expand it. I think the expansion is a very smart thing. Let's do the devil's advocate thing and talk about a different White House, maybe a Biden or an Obama White House or a Kamala Harris White House or a Pete Buttigieg White House, whatever it might be. Do you want the White House, the people who have the power, picking who gets to ask the questions?
In the case of a liberal administration, whether that be Kamala Harris or Pete Buttigieg, it wouldn't matter. It's the same people. Like these are the same groups that are controlling these things.
I was going to say they kind of were.
That's what I mean, is that like it's the same people that would be picking it. So I wouldn't care whether they said, no, we're going to do it now, because you were already doing it. Now, it is a big departure for a Republican administration to do that, because they're saying, you are not us. We're going to do this now because you're doing it poorly and we don't like it.
It seems to me like the reformation of the White House Correspondents Association is really what's needed here, but we're not there.
These are all steps in that direction, though.
Right. I would like to see an entity that is independent from the White House making these decisions, but we're not there. And the voters, I mean, I would think that Kamala Harris would think that the voters overwhelmingly chose somebody other than her. She does not. There is no facet of the results of the November 2024 election that suggests that Kamala Harris has a hook to hang her hat on. So a lot of that is a repudiation of the media, in my opinion, because the media has worked so diligently to uphold a fake narrative, to uphold a conspiratorial slandering of Donald Trump so that he is not allowed. Donald Trump is forbidden to be the representative in the Oval Office for the American people. That was the all hands in the middle agreement that these individuals, the bureaucrats, the swamp, and the media alike, they all came together to agree upon that. And I really think you have to purge, you have to rip it all out, and then reestablish something that is independent, and that this is the natural occurrence of such a slanted media for so long, taking away the power from the American people, almost more than the politicians.
It's really across the board, too. It's not just the White House Correspondents Association, whatever it's called. It's all of these organizations that their original purpose was to be the nonpartisan, outside of politics organization to try to mediate between the parties. But they've all gone left. The American Bar Association is one of them. You know, that was originally a great association for law and order and to have people vetted to come up through the legal system. But they've gone all the way left now. It's all these organizations, you know, and a lot of them, in the case of the Bar Association, they're on the public dime now. And so, of course, they're against the Republican in office right now who's dismantling their funding, you know, because a lot of these organizations, not only are they left, but they're receiving government money. And so they're against everything this administration's doing.
Yeah. And the opposition has gotten them to a place where they've kind of lumped themselves all together. I mean, if you're looking at what MSNBC is going through right now, of course, there's a budget problem. And why do they have a budget problem? Because they have a viewer problem. And why do they have a viewer problem? Because people are sick of it. It's not just, this is the real tragedy about it. It's not just that those who advocate for policies that are left, that we disagree with them, they don't talk about policies. They only talk about hating Donald Trump. They spend the amount of time that they have talking about this administration or the Trump candidacy. I mean, the invocation of Hitler and Nazi with such a regularity completely diminishes what Hitler did, what Nazis would do. You can't repeat something like that. I mean, I know they're consumed with vitriolic hatred for this person. But I still have the question, why? Like, why? Why is it that in 2015, going back to our conversation with Kerry Picket at 125, who is a reporter for the Washington Times and was looking into this in October of 2024 and following up on it now, why is it that in 2015, James Comey was sending honeypots into the Trump campaign to find something, find anything? Why was the person who was in charge of our investigative department trying to take down a potential presidential nominee? Why? And to me, I have still not seen anything that is so egregious. There are things in Donald Trump's past that I'm like, okay, I would like to cross that thing off the list. If I were he and I was looking back at my past, I'd be like, ooh, let's just leave that one over there. Maybe I didn't say that on a bus with Billy Bush or whatever. Just leave that back there. If I were looking back and I were trying to, cultivate the shiniest resume for president, and I'm Donald Trump, there are things that would have to be taken off the list. But the things that are on the list aren't disqualifying things. They're sometimes crude. He's this big bombastic personality that was in the limelight because he was a very, very rich real estate mogul in the biggest city in our country. So, I mean, go pick any Hollywood celebrity and go through their past. It's going to be similar, maybe worse. There are opportunities for things that could have popped up and been very, very, very bad for Donald Trump, and it turns out, no, he didn't do that stuff.
Well, it's even more incredible because he's been investigated so heavily by everybody.
Correct. So my point being that when you look at his past, he's actually a pretty good guy, if not when you hear stories like Kathy Lee Gifford's. Did you hear that story?
Yeah.
She talks about after having a baby, she there was a death threat, a very real death threat against her, and Donald Trump took care of her, picked her up in a helicopter and her new baby, and flew her to a place in Atlantic City where she was safe. And Donald Trump did that for her and didn't make a big deal out of it. He's not been boastful about these things. Why is it that in 2015, I mean, if there's something to know about Donald Trump, we know it by now.
Yeah.
Why is it in 2015 that James Comey was in his own personal capacity with the strings of the FBI at his fingertips, in his own personal capacity? Why was he trying to eliminate Donald Trump? Because you're either protecting the country from Donald Trump or you're protecting yourself from Donald Trump. And I can't see a single even wrinkle that is out of order with Donald Trump that suggests that Comey was doing the patriotically American thing when he did that. And I want to know all of the facts and all of the truth.
If the Attorney General of Illinois decided and said publicly, I'm going to go after you, whoever that is, if you live in Illinois, or any one of us, and actually ran their campaign on, you know what, if I'm elected, I'm going after Brad Range. I would be scared to death, even though I haven't done anything. I'd be like, man, this is going to be terrible. That's what the Attorney General of New York did to Donald Trump. And you know what she found? She found that he had real estate holdings that were higher in value than she thought they should be. That's it. I mean, it's incredible that he was able to get through somebody campaigning for my state. I'm going to go after this one man if you elect me.
It's not even like what they found was not even what they were looking for. It's just the best they could do.
That's the best they could find. And nobody's ever prosecuted that. If they have, it was a misdemeanor and nobody ever cared. And there was no victim. Like the banks were like, why are you doing this? We were fine with this deal.
He paid us back.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, we'd like to do business again.
Yes.
It's crazy. Should I go to the White House or should I apply for the opportunity for a press pass at the White House? I said 400 votes, and I would adventure into that after the show, and we were at 420 votes.
Nice.
83% yes right now.
We're at over 400, which means you have to do it now.
I have to do a show.
No.
Are you going to do the rest of the show? Fine. Let's go to a break. It's all you on, Ryan.
Okay.
Ryan's got it from here, and I will start sending some contacts as we move through the show. Don't go away. You can come vote and tell us if you think I should go. I'm excited for the opportunity. I don't even know what it entails, so we're going to learn about this together, and I'll keep you updated. Is it a long shot? Probably. But, you know, in the famous line, so you're saying there's a chance? More than there was 2 days ago, so we'll give it a shot. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
AirComfortService.com. If you're looking to make sure your HVAC system is in good working order, you want to go with the best, the people who are not going to take advantage of you, who are going to help you, give you options. That's Air Comfort Service. That's Corey Malone and the wonderful people there. 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. If you have been, like putting that heater in overtime, it's kind of hard to talk about that when it's 65 degrees outside. But you know it's going to get cold again, and we have had some very bitter cold this winter season. Make sure that everything in your HVAC system is in good working order. Become a member of their preferred partner plan. You can make sure that everything is working safely. You can avoid costly repairs. That's a big one. When you join this preferred partner plan for just $19 a month, you're going to get the last month free when you do this. And it's a great way to protect the HVAC system in your home. Or, if you own a home rental system or something like that, and you want to make sure that you're not having to make costly repairs that you could have avoided, Air Comfort Service is there to guide you through that. 314-513-0091. My friends at aircomfortservice.com.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-668-6655. That's 800-668-6655. Again, that's 800-668-6655.
Hey, Jimmy Fallon here with a quick listening tip for you. If you miss Fox Across America or any of your other Fox News favorites, do not worry. I got you covered. You can stream previously aired shows with Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app. So if you're busy work days, it doesn't mean you have to miss out on the news. Listen to your Fox shows on your time with Odyssey. To get started, just download the free Odyssey app and search for Fox News Radio. That's Odyssey, A-U-D-A-C-Y. I'm spelling it out in case you're a little slow like me.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter. They're the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. Call 314-499-2020. That's 499-2020 or GeneratorSupercenterofStLouis.com. That's GeneratorSupercenterofStLouis.com.
Could you make $500,000 in retirement savings feel like $1 million? Or $1 million feel like $2 million? The key is having a comprehensive financial plan for taxes, Social Security, inflation, healthcare, income, and more. Discover how you could make money go a lot further in retirement in a 3-hour adult education class, Retirement Planning 101. Guys, it's Dave Glover from KMOX. This one-night class is taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects with decades of financial planning experience. They're held at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis. There's no cost. Just bring 3 canned goods for the St. Louis Crisis Nursery. If you've saved $300,000 or more for retirement, register by calling 314-350-8110. 314-350-8110. If, like me, you haven't quite had the pedal to the metal the way you should, or if you've had the pedal to the metal the entire time, either way, give us a call. We can help you out. We'll take you wherever you are. 314-350-8110. 314-350-8110 for Financial and Tax Architects.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
97.1 and thousands of music options, plus millions of podcasts are all on the free Odyssey app. Download the app or tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 and it comes up automatically. 97.1 FM Talk. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Annie left the studio and just never came back, so I assume she's keeping her word on not wanting to do this segment and is going to let me do it. So we're going to play this clip here from the cabinet meeting today. This is Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, and he's back, but we're going to keep going anyway. Let's see if I can actually do this.
Did you forget to unmute your computer?
I got it.
So it was poorly overseen, poorly executed. Then you had our border open where millions of people came through. So the idea is we will have a proper business. We will modify the EB-5 agreement. Christy and I are working on it together. For $5 million, they'll get a license from the Department of Commerce. Then they'll make a proper investment on the EB-5. Right? And we think Scott and I will design the EB-5 investment model because Scott and I are the best people together to do that. So this is joint. This is exactly the Trump administration. We all work together. We work it out to be the best. And if we sell, just remember, 200,000. There's a line for EB-5 of 250,000 right now. 200,000 of these gold green cards is $1 trillion to pay down our debt. And that's why the president is doing it, because we are going to balance this budget and we are going to pay off the debt under President Trump.
All right. Now, I appreciate this opportunity to bring up this issue because I thought this was fantastic from the cabinet meeting today.
Why are you talking like that?
I'm being official.
Is that how I sound? When I'm doing the show, is that what I sound like?
Oh, no.
What do I sound like?
You don't sound like that at all.
What do I sound
but
like?
This is what I sound like when I host the show. You're usually gone.
What do I sound like when I am being professional?
You're just like, as a mom.
There's the video for the White House application.
She's perfect.
Like a rabid 4-pound dog.
Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, wow, she does something a little different there, doesn't she, there in the Midwest?
She's trying to represent all people.
Yeah. So that's why I think maybe sending this clip of me talking professionally about the Commerce Secretary, maybe that gets us in the
You
door.
just want to say Commerce Secretary.
Yeah, it sounds great, doesn't it?
I'm not wanting to talk like that.
Well, really, what I wanted to bring up here is that Howard Lutnick thinks outside the box. And that's what I like about the Trump administration in general, is that nobody ever thought about buying $5 million green cards before. And now this looks like it's going to be the actual policy. And what do they say? Not only are you going to bring in a bunch of rich people to spend a whole bunch of money in the United States, they're going to pay $5 million and raise $1 trillion to, quote, pay down the debt.
You're talking about the gold card?
Yeah.
Is this brilliant?
I think it is.
Trump said, and you might have mentioned this already, but Trump said something like, I think a lot of people are going to buy it. Maybe nobody will buy it. But they keep talking about it as like being able to keep our first round draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if one person buys it and we have $5 million, okay.
Yeah, even if it's not 200,000 people, because what they're saying is we got 250,000 people lined up to do this already.
I wonder what the market is out there for gold card applicants for radio show co-hosts.
Well, I don't need citizenship, though. I've already got it. You're talking about... I see. Now I see where this is going.
I don't need citizenship.
I'm a citizen of this country. I don't think you understand. So what you're saying, though, is that my position is for sale. And I would have to agree. If somebody came to you with $5 million, I would say, seat's yours.
I think I'd have to pay the $5 million.
To work with you?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
They're taking my seat.
If I wanted to dabble in the draft picks of very highly qualified, brilliant people out there who might want to have the luxury of this gold card so they could stay in the country with a pathway to citizenship included, I could invest $5 million in acquiring one of these gold cards so that I could get a top-notch quality co-host.
You want an immigrant. That's what you're saying.
No, I want the
You want the best of the best. It's a meritocracy.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess it's private money.
I don't have $5 million. You're good.
So, wouldn't it be
maybe
more
we could
helpful?
maybe we could ask the company.
Let's go to Odyssey. Yeah. Can we replace Ryan with somebody from overseas? It'll only cost you $5 million.
I asked for like $100 for a Facebook ad. I got told no.
Can we have a billboard?
I'd have told me no too. I've never had a billboard.
Wouldn't it be fun though?
I think we've taken a lot of pictures of the show with us together that could go on the billboard, which is basically where the three of us line up and you stand in front of me.
I think if we get a billboard, we should fundraise to get a billboard. But then once we get it, just blow it. I mean, do something on the billboard that's like, what were they even thinking? Like, we're just playing hockey.
Gotta check.
You're like, that doesn't
out.
have anything to do with the show. It doesn't even say the name of the show, just our names.
You got anything else to add to the segment?
I do.
Okay.
I have a story that I'd like to tell you. Now, there are no Ruler Foods in Edwardsville, correct? You have to go to Collinsville, right?
Yeah, that's where we go.
That's where we go to. But last night, we had soccer practice in Edwardsville. So, to kill some time, I went to the grocery store to pick up something to eat, and I went to the Deerbergs.
Fancy.
I know, but I was in the clearance section.
Why were you in Deerberg?
Like I said, soccer practice, picking up something to eat. While there, a gentleman looked over at me and then looked back. And I thought, because this happens a lot in the clearance section,
You went to Deerberg's to go to the clearance section.
Yes. That's where I got the dog
famous
food.
dog
if
food.
you-
Do you know how many people send me pictures of dog food?
I don't want to know.
It's more than you'd be
It's
happy
embarrassing.
about.
I knew the minute I told that story
You
that
didn't
it
tell the
wouldn't
story.
go away.
You didn't tell the story.
I was trying to tell the story on my terms, and you didn't let that happen.
No, that's not accurate either.
Yes, it is.
Who didn't let that happen?
You.
Your wife.
My wife contacted you.
To tell me that you ate dog food, and then literally in the message said you should tell the story on air. You should make fun of him for it.
Yeah.
It's because we're best friends. Go on.
I don't
Deerberg's
care
clearance section.
for either of you. I was in the Deerberg's clearance section yesterday, which I frequent, especially during soccer season. And I was there, and because it's a small area, and a lot of people go through it because there's really good deals in there. A lot of times you have to kind of sit and wait
really
your
good dog
turn.
food. Yeah.
And then and then like people pressure you because they're waiting to get in too. So sometimes you pick up a bag of something like dog food, you don't even realize it.
I bet that you pressure people.
I sit there and tap my foot and look at my watch, if that's what you mean. Loudly sighing. What else am I going to do while I wait? I say to myself. Finally, they move on, and I look at my my coveted clearance section. Anyway, there's this guy standing there, and I assumed that he was looking at me like, oh, because he was there before me. And I assumed he was looking over because he's like, oh, here's somebody that's going to wait. So now his time is going to be cut short because I'm there. He gets done. He moves on. I get done. I go to check out. In the lane is that same guy. I just happened to walk up behind that same guy. And he looks back at me again. And I'm like, I wonder if he's mad at me for making him move too fast out of the clearance section. But nothing happened. There was no fisticuffs. I get done checking out, and I say to the clerk, or whatever you call him, the cashier, I said, sorry, but you're going to have to ring 100% of these items up. They're all clearance items because they don't ring up normal. You know, you got to punch in the number. When I said that, the guy turns back to me and goes, are you Ryan Wiggins from the Annie Fry Show? And I said,
was it my dad?
I said, sir, you look so different. No, it was not your dad. It was he was a listener. He's a regular listener. And
did you ask him why he wasn't at Ruler Foods?
No.
Tell him you're out there to scope.
Well, he's in Edwardsville.
Yeah.
That's probably why. But he loves the show. Maybe listening right now because he referenced something that we had said yesterday on the show.
Yeah.
And we just got to talking. We probably sat there and talked for 15 minutes. Super nice guy.
Well, they had to manually ring up everything you got out of the clearance
Yeah, because
section.
it took a while just standing there. Now, I won't give away too much about his situation, but he's a really interesting guy. He's a government worker in this area. And so we got to talking about, well, what's it like for you right now? And he said, well, they haven't really started cutting anything yet where he is.
Yeah.
But he said, but I will tell you that every single person is back in the office 5 days a week.
And looking busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does this person know me personally?
No.
Okay. We got an email, since you brought it up, we got an email from a listener who, I'm going to try to find out which email address I had this on. They wanted, here it is. And I think this is an interesting perspective. So it's a compliment and a little critique. And I'll just read it to you. Hi, Annie and crew. I love your show. Listen every day that my schedule allows. And she made a comment in yesterday's live chat. I read it on air. Thanks. I just wanted to clarify a couple of things. I'm a Republican and Trump supporter. My husband and I voted for Trump. My husband is also a federal employee. He recently made the switch over from 2 decades of work in the private sector and a short stint as a government contractor. His job is safe for now, but he works for an agency that has experienced significant cuts. Thousands of people let go overnight with no parachute or severance. It's scary. We have a kid in college and another that will be in the next few years. The attitude coming from the administration, Republicans, and even your show has at times been celebratory. You can blame big government for federal employees feeling comfortable, but that doesn't change the fact that good, hardworking people lost their jobs. People that are supporting families, paying mortgages, and buying groceries. Are there some that are dead weight? Of course. There's dead weight everywhere. People are employed, public and private sector. I think we need to take a step back and remember the human side of this situation. That's all. Again, love your show. The way you share your faith as a woman, wife, mother, and Republican gives me confidence every day, which I think is a very well-written criticism. I take that to heart. I think about that. I do think that it's very simple in a detached way when we're sitting here behind a microphone reading articles on X and depicting in your mind what a low-life leech government employee looks like. And that becomes a caricature that is not reflective of everybody who's being impacted by this.
No, it's definitely not. But you also hear people say, and here's the thing, this doesn't just apply to government. It applies to a lot of areas in life where there's not really a lot of oversight or accountability. I would say church is one of them because it's all volunteers. 80% of the people or 20% of the people do 80% of the work. It's the 80-20 thing, right? Everybody's heard this before. That same thing is what I keep hearing people apply to government, is that, yeah, you got 20% of the people who are working, and they're working hard. They have personal accountability. They might not have a lot of oversight, but they believe that they are actually there to be civil servants. That's why we use those words. But then if you have no oversight, you are going to have a whole lot of people who aren't doing a good job. And so is there bloat? Absolutely. And so when we're happy about government being cut, it's because we are $36 trillion in debt. And we have spent a lot of money, taxpayer money, that we cannot spend.
And, this is kind of correlative. I often talk about how all three of us in here, Brad, Ryan, and myself, all of our spouses are teachers. 2 of our spouses are public school teachers. And when I think about publicly funded unions, it very much so frustrates me. It very much so bothers me, the advocacy that utilizes tax dollars from the very teachers. Those teachers also pay taxes that get lumped into funding these unions, and then the unions fund the elections of candidates that are going to. It's a very circular thing that I don't feel like involves the taxpayer, and in this case also the student, the way it should. But there are a lot of criticisms that can be made about the way public education is in our society and in our American society, and in the way our culture, the way through education culture can be massaged behind closed doors of classrooms, and the people who are there to regulate that may not have my best interests at heart for my child. So there are a lot of, people talk about, teachers will always talk about how they don't make enough money. The public will say, well, let's assess that situation. Let's look at the retirement plans. Let's look at everything that goes into benefiting people in that field of work. And the truth of the matter is, there is truth on both sides of that coin. That teachers can make a point about pay that they get, and taxpayers can make a point about the pay that they give. And the conversation would be a valuable one if the end result was figuring out what was best for the education of the students that were involved, which is to say, you pay really good teachers really well. And you take bad teachers and say, go find another job. But that's not the system that is set up right now. The system is set up to protect anybody who's able to stick it out long enough in any different school district. It doesn't benefit them. So you can't, to the point of what this person who emailed us, it's a different details, but you can't just say, federal workers, government workers are all leeches on society, and they should all. It's not that simple. And I try to be cognizant of how we discuss these things. And I've said on the air before, I know for a fact that I've said on the air, like, these are real people who are being, who are nervous right now about the type of cuts that will come down. And I don't want to be flippant about that. So if I've ever been flippant about that, this is my unqualified apology for being that way. I do understand the humanity of it. And you could go to the beginning of the show, and I was kind of calling out people who are on our side of the aisle too for, the immigration issue and things that might have been said by people who are jerks when it comes to immigration. If, like, you see somebody who is of Latino descent and you make some sort of hateful comment to them about going back to where they came from, and these people could be generationally rooted in the United States of America, like, that's just ignorant, and that's stupid, and that's what a-holes do. I will add to it, though, that as somebody who's worked in radio my entire professional life for over 18 years, the idea of budget cuts, job security, pay, people around you that you love and have worked with and worked for being let go, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, congratulations, you still have your job, but you're going to have to do your best friend's job that you were working with and your boss's job because we've consolidated or regionalized or whatever. What is happening right now in this government work realm has been happening in the private sector forever. Mm-hmm. And it's awful. So I actually, heart to heart, really do understand the trepidation that people have. My husband went to school and got a degree in television and radio, and we thought it best to not have both of us be in television and radio. It's too volatile. And, we had discussed at some point after he had gotten that first degree, the possibility of him going back to be a teacher, and he felt called to do that. And so that he did that. And it is a much more safe and secure job that I have. It doesn't pay the same as what he would have, if he were doing what I was doing. That would make more money, of course. But I know what it's like, and I'm saying that in this actual very minute, to question the tenure that I have, the future that I have. If I get let go here, will I ever work again in media? These are all things that if you work in radio, you kind of have to laugh about it because it's so current always. You can be dead weight and get cut. You can be super successful and have done so well that you cost too much and you get cut. There's really no safe. And families who work in media specifically know that. I know that, which is why I'm always working my tail off to try to have as many lines in the water as I possibly can and work my butt off in a way that is not like I'm not being told by my boss, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, and those are the things I do. I'm doing way more than that because I'm trying to be an overachiever, so I keep this thing going. So because I know what that feels like, I would not want to laugh at somebody else who's feeling that way right now, but to understand that it's probably more relatable than some of these people may know. Now, this commenter, this emailer said that they worked in the private sector for a long time, so they probably understand budget cuts and consolidation.
Yeah, it's thoughtful. And that's what the guy at Deerberg said to me. He goes, yeah, I'm all for it. And then it starts to touch you and you go, oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
Yeah. Send us your comments on the Annie Fry YouTube channel if you want to react to anything that we're discussing here, because it's all happening. It's all happening very fast, and we appreciate each and every one of you. We do not get to be here if you are not there, and we are very grateful for it. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
TheDidimoreGroup.com, that's the website. Buying and selling your home. You want to make sure that you have somebody who is very well versed in the market that you live in. You want to have somebody who's very well versed in the market you want to live in. And that's Tammy Didimore and the whole team at the Didimore Group, the number one team in the number one office in the Metro East. So you're looking to sell and you're thinking this year's probably the year. 2025 might be the right time for you. You're kind of keeping your eye on the market. You're keeping your eye on interest rates and all of that. When's the right time? Well, that's where you call the Didimore Group at 618-531-4652. 618-531-4652, and you talk to Tammy directly. That goes straight to Tammy. Or you talk to somebody else there at the team who is able to answer your questions because they understand. They know. They can say, you know what, I think that we could get your house ready in this amount of time. Or here's what you need to do and fix up to make sure you get top dollar. Or you know what, let's get it going right now. And I think I could have a buyer for it already. These are the types of ways that the Didimore Group can help you. And because they are experts and they are the top team in the Metro East, you can know that you are in the very best of hands. 618-531-4652. 618-531-4652. Online at thedidimoregroup.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
What does Del Walmsley, CEO and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, think you need to succeed in this market?
It's time to buy, and so you better get prepared, you better get educated, you better get your money right. You need to get involved because you're going to need the financing, you're going to need the vendors that we have available to us. You're just going to need the interaction with people. You need to immerse yourself into real estate.
Start your real estate immersion with a free workshop live online at lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com.
The YouTube live chat poll today is about Annie Fry. You're listening to the Annie Fry Show. Should Annie apply for the opportunity for a press pass at the White House? Yes or no? If we get over 400 votes, she's going to do it, and they have to be yeses. So if you haven't voted yet, and you haven't heard us talking about how the fact we're already over 400, then you should vote now. It is 2:50, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Good afternoon. It's Mark Reardon getting set for a Wednesday show, and some of the media hyperventilating over the changes in the White House press corps are just hilarious. And I have great audio from former legacy media outlet members who think it's hilarious too. And we'll talk about it coming up after Fox News at 3.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
When it's cold outside, I've got the month of May. I guess you say, what can make me feel this way, my girl?
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. So I went to the White House Correspondents Association's website, whca.press, and they have a statement that came out yesterday. White House Correspondents Association statement on White House announcement on press pool. Here's what they say. Eugene Daniels, the association president. This move tears at the independence of a free press in the United States. It suggests the government will choose the journalists who cover the president. In a free country, leaders must not be able to choose their own press corps. I'm going to interject. That's where the problem has been. that the leaders have been choosing their own press corps. It's so very clear that the media, the press, has been in bed with the Democrats and the establishment to protect the government. I mean, what they're saying, I understand, like in black and white print that I'm reading right now, I understand what they're saying. But we're not stupid. We know where this has been. We know what has gone on. And the Trump administration is doing something about it. Statement goes on to say, for generations, the working journalists elected to lead the White House Correspondents Association Board have consistently expanded the WHCA's membership and its pool rotations to facilitate the inclusion of new and emerging outlets. Since its founding in 1914, the WHCA has sought to ensure that the reporters, photographers, producers, and technicians who actually do the work 365 days of the year decide amongst themselves how these rotations are operated, so as to ensure consistent professional standards and fairness and access on behalf of all readers, viewers, and listeners. To be clear, the White House did not give the WHCA board a heads up, or have any discussions about today's announcements. But the WHCA will never stop advocating for comprehensive access, full transparency, and the right of the American public to read, listen, and watch reports from the White House delivered without fear or favor.
Oh, yeah. The White House Correspondents Board has investigated themselves and found themselves to be above board. They have 40, 50 people in that room, and in the last 4 years, 2 of them leaned right. Yeah, you've been doing a great job of bringing in diversity of thought there.
You had open seats, and you made Chanel Rion stand in the back of the White House press room to ask questions.
I want them to do a White House Correspondents Association dinner again. Very fun event for Democrats and funny, and I want Nate Bargatze to do it.
Yeah, me too.
Wouldn't that be fun?
And I'll open.
Ryan.
Okay.
Ryan, only think about yourself. You're like, that's a great idea, but me.
Actually, Nate Bargatze, he might be the best person that could ever do that.
I think so.
Because he's apolitical. There's no politics in what he does.
The common sense and the things he prioritizes in this weird reality that we live in right now lean maybe a little more to the conservative right. And I don't think that he's like hidden away from that, but that's just because he talks about family. The thing he talks most about is family and being a dude. He would be super funny.
Well, what's really funny is that if you watch somebody like Nate Bargatze, and you think that leans right, then you are saying something about the culture that we live in, because he's not saying anything. He is a family man. Does a family man lean right all of a sudden? I guess maybe. I don't know.
Yesterday, we did a story on how Wisconsin's governor, Tony Evers, wants to change the word mother to inseminated person. And I almost just quit everything. That's what the left is standing for right now. So being like, I like being a dad. And I like that my wife is a mother. There's one side that hears that statement and is like, yeah. And there's another side that's like, well... Inseminated person?
If you live in that world where you hear somebody do a joke or whatever and they say dad and you're like, could have been a little more inclusive there. What kind of life do you live?
What kind of person finds the term mom or mother offensive? Because that's the only reason to change it.
Yeah. Is there somebody who is in that situation who's like, I'm actually kind of offended by that term?
I don't know those people.
It seems as if that person isn't real. That this is we finally hit the end of the road where they're just placing it upon them.
Well, before we get to the YouTube live chat poll results, Brad has been leaving the YouTube live stream up for an overtime, right?
Overtime, yeah.
A little overtime because the chat demanded it. So if you've ever wanted to go check out the live stream while it's taking place, it's going to go a little bit longer after 3 o'clock just on the YouTube channel. But you can keep it right here and listen to 97.1 FM Talk because the Mark Reardon Show is going to take over. We've got some results of today's poll. I said over 400 votes, and I'd get to it right today. And I've already started the process. Should I apply for the opportunity for a press pass at the White House? 85% of 469 votes said yes. Woo-hoo! I'll do my best. There's no guarantee, but I can't get it if I don't try, right? Mark Reardon Show next.
If you've tried and failed every ED treatment, there's another fix that could work for you. It's same-day surgery, it's minimally invasive, and is performed by South County urological physicians. Hundreds of men have come to us for this outpatient procedure.